Welcome to the Sharpe Way show. Tonight we have a very special Sharpe Way stew. If it's Friday night, we have Sharpe Way stew. Is when we talk about different clips from the internet, but it's not soup. It's stew because it's meatier. Yes, it is so much meatier. It is what makes it cool. And not just that, I want to make sure if you care about this, if you're paying attention and you want people to pay attention, you got to help us out. You got to like, you got to comment, you got to share. You got to get out there, let people know, like, comment, and share that we're on right now. And something else, if you love me and you tell me you do, you liars, you've got to get out there and go to Twitter and like me on Twitter. You've got to like me on Facebook. You've got to like me on YouTube. All those things so we can grow our media. It's important. I know you care. So please do that. If you've got more time than cash, then like, comment, and share. If you've got more cash than time, then head over to patreon.com/sharpeway. And throw me a couple bucks, 5, 10, 20 bucks. If you're a bazillionaire, like these guys are bringing on, super wealthy, super rich, then you can give me like 200, 300 bucks a month because you got so much money just coming out all over the place. You can do that instead. I'm very happy today. I have on the show the co-host, the one host of Nerds at Words, Adam Nutter, the comedian,
the only host.
That's
right, only host.
And some guy he found on the street.
Some
I guess
random,
maybe he was riding or something. Yeah. And we happen to know his name is Neil Wood. Neil, how are you, sir?
First time caller, long time listener, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I love it. Adam, how are you?
Good, man. Good. I'm great. Super psyched to be on. Fucking Neil's ugly face. I'm psyched that Neil finally, of course, the other co-host finally of Nerds with Words is coming on the show. Finally.
Happy. He doesn't like me. You finally convinced him to show up. I appreciate it.
Hey, we turned him on some ideas, man. He does. He won't. He'll posture up publicly, but on the sly, he'd be like,
"I don't even know." Idea. Well, I mean, no. I have said. I think in the state that we're in now, Larry, I will 100% say, I would take a libertarian candidate tomorrow.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
I mean, like, everyone is just for anyone else, even just I don't know, somebody on the quote unquote left with a backbone. Let's just say, right? Who knew? Maybe they have a backbone. We haven't seen that at all. So, like, I'll take. Of course, I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, get him in. Get a suit on. Get a suit on.
There we go.
Oh, you mean the Alzheimer rapist patient they're pushing isn't the guy for the fucking public? That's weird.
I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad you guys came on. I really am happy. And I always talk about the idea that, on Friday, I try to not be as serious, right? I've been serious the whole week and a lot of stuff's been going on, but I've been trying to not be as serious and just kind of be a little bit funnier if we possibly can. So, but you're mad, Adam. Tell me what you're mad about. I mean, I didn't want to be serious, but you're mad. So tell everybody why you're mad.
I'm not mad. It's you know what, man? Mad. It's comical. I'm mad. I am mad. I'm a little mad. I've been harboring this for a week. All right, listen, man. We're all Neil's not libertarian, but we're all libertarians here. Okay,
Neil's not one of us.
He's not one of us. He's a dirty outside. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Fucking, we're all libertarians here. We all like the idea of liberty and freedom, individual rights. It's like, anybody who identifies as libertarian socialist to me is weird. Okay, it's just a weird thing. It's an oxymoron. Those two concepts bump. It's like one's about not liberty and freedom, and one's all about it. So it's pretty much that simple. I'm seeing a lot more left, like socialist libertarians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fucking like on Twitter, just popping mad shit all the time.
Hold on 1 second. Do you know what a filler word is?
Yeah, no. My brain is
a filler word in English is a word like or in other languages. I have brain damage.
I'm trying to keep it together.
Literally the F-bomb. Yeah. That is literally your filler word is the F-bomb.
I don't want to.
This is what years of football and MMA do to people.
I don't
do combat sports
out there. I just
don't play football. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Or this is like a hamster constantly. It's constantly turning up here. All right. Yeah. So this guy Henry C. Libertarian, that's what he goes by on Twitter. He's running for the Libertarian at large or something like that. He's a libertarian socialist. He likes to pop off on Twitter a lot. Likes to run his mouth. A bunch of big name libertarian guys on Twitter like Eric July, Dave Smith, Tom Woods, guys like that. Eric July got into a little bit of an argument with this guy, Adam Bates. Adam Bates was misquoting Eric July about something he said about Nazis and libertarianism. Eric July said, "You're lying. That's not true." Then Tom Woods stepped in to just kind of defend Eric July. And then Henry C. Libertarian, who has less than 200 Twitter followers, running for fucking office. Good luck, dude. He was like, hey, Tom, kindly shut the fuck up. And then everyone was like, cool, we're just going to light you up now. And then Dave Smith was like, this is what people who never got into a fight with ever in public look like, and they want to talk shit on Twitter. It's like, he's one of these guys. It's like, how can you be a socialist libertarian? It just doesn't make sense.
No, I get it. And this is the issue that I bring up all the time, right? The reason why you'll never hear me attack the lip socks ever is because I like the idea of what libertarian socialists do. What the caucus does, it allows a safe space for the left to come in much easier, right? The left very often doesn't want to come into our party. But when you have the lip socks, it allows the left to dip their toe into the libertarian world, because it feels safer for them. And I love that idea, right? The right can come in easy. The right can come in through Mises Caucus. The right can come in many other ways, into the party. The left sometimes struggles to come in. I want them to come in. If libertarian socialists are the answer, I'm in. And look, the reality of it is, the thing I talk about always, right? I ask people when I go to libertarian events, I'll ask this question. I'll say, who here is against universal health care? And all the hands will go up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I go, none of you are. What you're against is the mandate. You're not actually against universal health care. Right. You're against the government mandate. If I had a plan, I don't, but if I had a plan that could magically give everybody health care without a government mandate, would you be against it? They go, no. Exactly. And that nuance matters. We actually aren't against socialism, meaning, and this is a very important issue, many people who are on the right in the Libertarian Party, they look at socialism by its actual meaning, its denotation, right, what it actually means, which is government control, right? That's what it actually means. The average American doesn't see it that way. The average American hears socialism and they see it as sharing, being social. We all get something. That's how they see it. As long as that's voluntary, I don't mind.
Right.
I mean, in reality, many churches are socialistic, right? You give them money and they decide where to put the money. They don't tell you where the money's going. They decide whether they give it to this charity or they help somebody or build a new roof or whatever. And
lawyers funds to defend the priests,
Lawyers funds to defend priests.
Jesus Christ was a Jewish socialist.
We all know this. We all know this to be true.
Do you think that the one problem is with I think they might not like lib socks because it sounds like a dead tooth problem? Like it sounds like a gross lib. Is it just the name that they don't like? Is it lib socks? Like
they don't like socks is what it is.
You think so, right?
It's the sock part. It's not the
lame puppet. Maybe it's a lame sock puppet.
It does.
Puppet.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Puppet.
Sock puppet. That's the problem. There we go. Absolutely. I love that. I totally love that. Absolutely. But no, I think it's a really interesting, right? Andrew says this. He's a left-leaning libertarian, right? He wouldn't call himself a socialist, right? He calls himself a hard classic liberal. He's against monopolies and big government,
right? But
and I think the lib socks start to move towards that, right? That's what I think,
right?
So, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I just feel like a lot of times the lib socks, and I'm generalizing here, so whatever. But like a lot of times, lib socks would be like, again, they want to be protected by the libertarian status for their ideologies, but then when other people are like with their libertarian ideologies, like no. It's like, well, man, it got to be all of it. You can't just sanction off a little part of yourself. Like that's the problem I see.
It's also just a bold strategy because, like, you see, fucking poor like Bernie Sanders got eaten up just for putting Democratic socialists, and then he's like, "I'm a libertarian socialist." It's like, dude, we didn't even get to here. Like, you're fucking over here. You're like crazy. Like you, like they maybe just got to like the Mount Olympus, and you're like, "I'm gonna go higher. I'm going up here into the clouds. Who gives a shit?"
I'm going above it. Like, no, but you have a valid point too, Adam. Is you have a lot of libertarians who, man, when they hear Tom Woods, when they hear Dave Smith, when they hear, they go on the warpath too. Oh, they're not real libertarians; they're just Republicans and blah blah blah. I hear the same thing.
Yeah.
What I love is not everyone. I'm exaggerating now. So many people on the left will tell me, "Well, the Libertarian Party is taken over by the right," and then people on the right go, "Oh my God, the Libertarian Party is taken over by the left," and I go, "I'm winning." I'm winning. If both of them think the other is taking over the party, I'm winning. So I'm kind of happy to hear that. I hear that almost every week. Someone tells me the exact opposite of the other.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised you hear it because I would have thought probably years ago. I would have thought a couple of years ago. So once you saw like moderate Republicans kind of just like basically just be like, you look around in the room, you're like, I can't even find one. No one knows where they are. I think they all like poofed up and they just held. They were like, we can't deal with this, so we're leaving now.
Right.
And I think they might. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They went into the cartoon world and we never heard from them again.
Well, they did Amash. Amash just flipped.
Sure,
yes,
but
he did.
I would have thought in terms of economic, a lot of the moderate Republicans would have been like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll jump on this train because this sounds like it's someplace at least in the middle, quote unquote, the warm."
Yeah,
there,
no, I completely get where you're going with this, and let me cover two parts. One, I want to cover the Amash piece you brought up, Adam, because Amash just recently talked about the idea of ending qualified immunity.
Yeah, right.
And you're a former cop. How do you feel about that?
Hated every minute
or a bad thing?
Hate every minute of it. I want to clarify. Hated every minute. I got out a while ago.
Right. I was a Marine. Yeah. I got out too.
Yeah,
I got out. I got you.
Again, for anybody who's watched me on your show before, we had this discussion of what happened, but yes.
And I shop at maybe some places that are support. I go to VFWs every once in a while. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry. That's all I have. So
and Wendy's.
Thank you for your service.
I'm just supporting. I'm just really supporting. Salvation Army. I shop a couple of times. But anyway, you go ahead. You guys are heroes or whatever. I don't know.
No. I got on when I was a dumb kid. Didn't realize what it was about. You think about helping people. Whatever. Okay, it's whatever. It's my story. But
what about qualified immunity? What do you think about that?
I think it's a joke. Of course it should be ended because why do these guys get held to a standard for a shooting somebody to death? Again, Breonna Taylor. Do people know who Duncan Lemp is? It's almost the same thing, except almost a little worse, where they shot that kid in his sleep to death.
Right. The real Fred Hampton situation.
Yeah, for people who doesn't know who Duncan Lemp is, he said some boogaloo shit on Twitter. They red flag lawed him, which is super unconstitutional. I don't know how the fuck that's a thing. But the Maryland SWAT team went to his house at 4 a.m. and they shot him through his window while he was sleeping in bed next to his girlfriend. Right.
Yep. And
all because he said "fuck the government" on Twitter. So the state murdered him because he doesn't like the government. It's
what did he say? Oh, I already need to change up all of my accounts.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Let's swap it all. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, McAfee just told us he's making that fucking program that could make the government not track us.
Oh, I love that. Good. So we need that one. Yeah. Okay, good.
So I'm going to download that. But yeah, man, when I was in stop and frisk was my era. That was my era. And again, I worked in Staten Island. I worked in a precinct that was 95% white people. So all I really did was white people. So I actually really didn't have that racial divide between cops and. Right. I did it.
You were like, I don't know. We don't really need to stop and frisk a lot of these people.
No. We did. We just no. So and this is where it's funny. This is when it's about this clearly the state versus just poor people. Because they were like, well, there's no black people here. But there's a bunch of poor white people by the beach, so go harass them.
Let's go harass them. Let's find the poor people and just harass them.
Yeah. So there's no black people, but plenty of poor. So we got it. And that's the thing. And this is what Neil and I were talking about in our podcast, last week is this whole police brutality shit. We have to realize, of course, the police on black crime is fucking crazy, what's happening and stuff. But we also have to realize. Duncan Lemp, that's a white kid. It's also about the fucking state, the state's overreaching power. It's all of it. It's we have to pay attention to all of it.
The issue is we have to be able to communicate that in a way that doesn't insult the other, right?
Exactly.
Right. And it's being tone deaf. And what I'm unhappy about is when people are tone deaf, right? I don't want. Trump said we're going to release dogs on people.
Yeah.
Not right when there's when there is a black death.
That's not even tone deaf. That guy's fucking deaf. That guy's not even.
But knowing the history of America, that you shouldn't say that, right? I get it. You're the law and order president. You want law and order. Nixon. Okay, no worries. I got that. Yeah. But you shouldn't say that. And people go, well, it's just words. Words matter.
I know. The language we all agreed upon.
Yes,
weird.
Words
I know.
Matter. It hurts to say that stuff. Just. Don't say that. Instead, say, I'm going to crack down. Better.
Well,
much better.
Right. He's not even just, it's also the way he's saying it as if he wants us to know the dog whistle is more of a horn, right? The guy isn't saying it just I don't know, I think I should be the law and order president. He's not saying he's proposing a possible thing. He's kind of law, wink, order, wink. You sound like you know what you're talking about when you say those things, and they don't sound like dog whistles anymore. So I love it when people are just he might not have meant it. I'm like, there's a lot of every other word or sentence. What did he just come out? What did he say today? He invoked George Floyd.
Yes.
In the middle of talking about the like trying to get people revved up about the economy. He's just like, the numbers are looking good.
I bet George Floyd would be happy now.
My God.
Well,
I didn't see that. I gotta watch that.
Maybe, but I don't know.
It's a shame he wasn't murdered. He would really love all this economic upswing.
Publicly, he might be happy now. That could be true, but he's not now because he took to death. So no.
With the qualified immunity thing, like, yeah, man, I mean, you see a lot of like, I mean, we also that Buffalo video with those two cops.
Yes.
And then 57 cops resigned, and we're supposed to be sad.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, so 57 potential murderers off the street, great.
They didn't resign. They actually just didn't. They no longer volunteered for that unit.
Oh, by the way, I 100% knew that's what they meant in that tweet. I knew 100% I knew they didn't mean they quit. I knew that for a fact. I fucking knew it. I knew it meant they just walked back there. We're like, we're not going to do the riot thing anymore out of like, unity for beating up an old guy. Like, what are you doing?
Beating up an old guy. Oh my God, it's horrible. Oh my God, it's horrible.
No, that video is the perfect thing of just like, oh, whoops, regret, white guy. My bad, everybody. My bad. This was a white one.
And then the Buffalo PD said they said we're sorry that man tripped and fell.
Yes. Oh, that was the worst. See, this is the part drives me crazy too, right? You will hear people all the time say, "Well, no, they don't kill unarmed people." Well, how do we know they're unarmed? Because the cops say they're unarmed.
You didn't check.
Yeah.
Right?
You're doing it posthumously later, right?
Exactly.
We didn't find one, but we didn't know then. Well, then
yes.
You're assuming then at any time everyone is armed then. I mean, it is America, but
I'm not sure that's true.
And that's the other joke about that, Neil. And Neil, that's such a great point. Because we have the Second Amendment, we have the constitutional right to everyone to be armed. They should fucking know that. Like, we should know everyone's armed, possibly, because it's the Second Amendment. It's 2. Right. It is 2 on the list of all of the, I don't know, 20-something, whatever we have.
It's crazy. I agree. So, anyway, I want to show you something. We this is, I think you'll enjoy this. This is a clip. Just came out. Reason brought this out. I think you will enjoy it. I want to show it to you. We can laugh a little bit about this one. Hold on. Here we go. You guys haven't seen it yet, so it's great.
Hello, I'm a citizen. And I'm the government. So do you work for me, or are you like my dad? Think of me as the things that we do together. Together.
They brought up the Apple versus the PC thing. They brought it up years ago.
Yeah.
For me, and they brought it up. But together. Isn't that amazing?
You know, it's funny too about like it's weird how you think people who are still anti-gun and preaching anti-gun, this would be the biggest wake-up call to be pro-gun. Like,
yes, absolutely, yes.
And here's the other thing too that I've said this before. I think on Nerds Words I said before, but like maybe not. But when like the protesters right now were shitting on the anti-lockdown protesters, it's like you guys should be on the same side. Because it's kind of all fuck the government, really. It's like, it's like, and by the way, the reason.
No, but it isn't. See, and this then drove me crazy. Killer Mike, who I love Killer Mike. I think his TV shows are great. I love Killer Mike. But Killer Mike, his answer was, we got to vote and organize and blah, blah, blah. Please stop fighting. Let's vote and organize. And I thought, for who?
Right.
Democrats have run this country. Republicans have run this country. And was Clinton any better? No, he was terrible. Was Bush any better? No, he was terrible. Was Obama any better? No, he was terrible.
Right.
Was Trump any better? No, he was terrible.
Which, by the way,
last 4 were all bad.
Right.
None of them introduced the fucking qualified immunity bill, like including Trump, by the way, obviously. But like I'm saying, like, and that's why everybody's always laughs when they're like, well, Clinton and Obama were. It's like we're what? Cared about minorities and crime because they didn't. Because they're the one. I didn't see a qualified immunity bill being passed under them. We all know Bush wasn't. That motherfucker started wars and Patriot Act, so we know he wasn't going to do it.
Right.
But the other two, you think they would? Well, where was it? Because they don't really give a shit. But my point with the protesters, like in Michigan, with the armed protesters, and I hear people being like, "Oh, the cops didn't push them around. Why? Because they're white?" It's like, yeah, maybe because they had guns, though. Maybe
it could be because they had guns.
Because I always say this. If you guys remember that famous Occupy Wall Street clip where that fat piece of shit San Diego cop was walking all casually, just macing these kids innocently protesting on the street, like all like, oh, look at my power. And then you go, I always say, remember the Bundy Ranch incident?
I do.
Which Neil and I talked about this before. And again, if you agree with Bundy or not, that's not the point of this. The point is people don't know. The government was like, Bundy, this is our land. He was like, no, it's mine. And they're like, we're going to come take it. He's like, fucking come try. So they sent the fucking federal SWAT team down. And he met them at the line with him and a bunch of other well-armed cattle ranchers. And the cops showed up and they went, hey, buddy, why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it? Instead, because they couldn't bully them.
I mean, I wouldn't even. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing, because look at the pipeline people. They froze them to almost the death with water cannons with the when they were peacefully protesting the native land being fucking torn apart by a pipeline. By the way, take that as you. I don't care what side you fall on that, but they were peacefully protesting, doing their First Amendment right, and the cops, knowingly it was negative 20 degrees in North Dakota, they froze them with water cannons. They were unarmed. If they had guns, they would not. When they have guns, the cops don't bully people. It's that fucking simple. Arm yourselves. Arm yourselves.
I'm agreeing with you. All right,
it's crazy.
I want to show there's more.
That clip was so funny.
That's all your fault, Adam, for dousing water on it. You just that
gasoline in the fire, baby.
That clip. All right, there's more to it. There's more.
Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm a citizen, and I'm the government. Hey, it's tax season. How much do I owe you guys?
Oh, you have to figure that out for yourself.
Do I owe you?
Oh, yeah, we know, but we're not going to tell you. You have to figure it out.
What happens if I get it wrong?
Well, then you owe us more, and you might go to prison.
No, makes no sense.
That's a great one.
Then you owe us more.
I'm pretty high, but that was funny.
You don't even be high. Like, well, that's the sad part of adults saying very simply what it looks like, and you're just like, it can't be that, right?
Yes,
like,
it can't be that.
It's so clearly
that. Yes.
And you just go like, no, that must be like, it's kind of something else, or they're simplifying it too much. Like, no, it's just kind of that.
Which is what's funny because again, cops murder people in the street. They're like debating if you should go to jail, and the government's like, you didn't pay us $100, so we're gonna throw you in a cell for 5 years. It's like what?
Yes.
That doesn't seem. It seems a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
It's crazy. I love it too as well. So Reason, I haven't heard of them before. I'm really loving their tone of what they're bringing for. I haven't seen these guys.
You don't know Reason?
No, I have not heard of them.
Oh my God, they have so many great things. I had one of the guy on the left. Yeah. I had him on my show about 3-4 weeks ago. Andrew Heaton, brilliant, funny, great. Yes, he
looks like Jim Florentine so much, but like a better one who didn't do crack. Because crack, like Jim Florentine did terrible drugs. But yeah, I'm loving it. Also, it's one of those things when anyone talks about taxes, I feel like. I mean, I always go back to Chomsky did say, like, he just goes like, you think about it, taxes are supposed to be like a fun day. We're all supposed to kind of get together and be like, what are we going to improve?
Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
And then it's every day. It's just like, fuck the government.
Yes.
I don't know who took my money, but I'm getting it back.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's crazy.
No, but in theory, like if you're right, in theory, and it's just only in theory, we should as a society all go, what do we want? Oh, we want cops in courts? Awesome. What's that cost? That costs so? All right, who's going to put the money in? And then we pay for the cops in courts. That's what should happen.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near that. It is nowhere near that. Absolutely. There's actually more.
All right.
I'm not done. You guys thought I was done. I'm not.
Hello, I'm a citizen.
And I'm the government.
Hey, you guys outlawed marijuana.
Yes, it is worse than cocaine.
Can I see some studies to back that up?
You know, it's real hard to find scientific studies on that kind of subject.
Because you outlawed it?
Yes, it is.
Yo, Neil, fuck, man, you nailed it on the head before. When people just break it down that simple, it's so fucking funny.
I mean,
it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
One more.
Hit it.
Hello, I'm a citizen.
And I'm the government.
Hey, I'm social distancing, and I wanted to check to see if you'd resolved those testing issues.
I'm sorry, I don't know which ones you're talking about.
Test that the CDC screwed up?
Yeah, you're going to need to be a bit more specific.
How many tests did the CDC screw up?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you because of the blue angles. Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
You're welcome.
There we go.
Yeah, I told that to my wife. I was when she was like, cause she's against all this shit too, and she was just like, oh, the Blue Angels are flying overhead. I was like, cool taxpayer money.
Yeah,
glad that went there and not anywhere else. Literally anywhere else.
This was the final straw for my wife. My wife has been a decades Democrat. And about 4 years ago, give or take, she was like, I don't think I'm a Democrat anymore. They don't support me. She was like a nothing. Like she moved just like, I don't care anymore. I can't call myself a Democrat anymore. So she just stopped. And in 2018, when I ran, she changed her affiliation to a Libertarian, but more for me than for actually being a Libertarian, right? So I'll support my husband, not be a Libertarian. But then this year, after the COVID crisis, she actually got mad and she's going, the government completely screwed it all up and got rid. Oh my God, the government shut us down and shut our economy. And all I said was, your transformation is complete.
You're like Ra's al Ghul bringing back Jason Todd from the dead and make him goddamn Red Hood.
That's it. We're back.
But yeah,
she's fully in now. Start sending those commercials over. Send the commercials over. We're looking to buy. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I love it.
But like that, it's funny too because it's like we don't have enough masks, and the government's like, we let people make masks now. It's like, well, wait, so you guys in the first place made people not allowed to make masks? And they're like, yeah, that was us. Why?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Hassan Minaj did that fucking covering, which is crazy. The cover, like I think that this was unveiled overall, but yeah, like with the mask covering. The thing is so great because we didn't refill the supplies for H1N1, right? So we didn't refill, right? And then we had we had the chain breakdown, and so then we were still sending masks over to other countries apparently when we needed them because he didn't deploy PDA. Right, if I get that correct, I think right. So because he didn't deploy the Protection Defense Act, or you would deploy it to like tell actual companies to be like, hey, no, keep them inside, guys. We need these right now. Don't send the maskies over because we need to cover our faces.
Right.
So he didn't do that until the meat crisis, until the meat thing happened, and then he did it for meat. And then we're like, oh well, wait, we were sending masks over to China, the place that we were trying to get masks from. Fuck, that's a bad look. God damn it, Greg.
I know it's all of it. And then like when they're like, hey, we're gonna lift the temporary restriction on doctors to be able to cross borders and practice medicine. I was like, I'm sorry, are our bodies different when I cross state lines? Like I'm like, I'm a ferret now in New York, but in New Jersey I'm a seagull.
Isn't like the Mexican border. It's like the New York State Massachusetts border.
It's so dumb. It's just a way for government to get occupation license money, which is obviously a big, libertarian knocking point. But of course, the war on drugs is in that reason bit when they're like, we can't do studies of marijuana because it's still a Schedule 1 drug. Like, what are we saying? This is a Schedule 1 drug. It's in a fucking little case. It says DART. This is a Schedule 1 drug.
It's worse than cocaine.
Yeah.
See that? That's what it is.
Well, you got to remember, right? The big companies now, because now marijuana is so large that it just hasn't been federally grabbed that money yet, right? Like they haven't been
illegal.
Right. Well, they haven't been able to figure out and be like, well, wait a second. Private companies are making tons of money off of this, but we got to get it for government money to make off of this.
You are going to see that happen, Neil.
Right.
You're going to see it happen because of all the damage of the lockdown. The government's got to find a way of making cash again. And if that means drugs,
$20 billion, $30 billion industry already, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
So you think marijuana's gonna be federally legal soon?
They just want,
how else are you gonna make money?
No. Hey, I'm obviously in agreement for that.
Well, good,
I was just asking the question.
Yeah.
It's not good because it's already been set up. So many states already at the levels have actually already set it up. And I don't even smoke marijuana. Like only when I'm around that guy every once in a while, or just if I want to sleep. So
it'd be like, could you give me a leg? Could you give me a leg of a gummy?
It's like
a little leg, like the head of the bear.
And I go like that, and I go.
Then he eats it like a chipmunk.
I do.
And then he just falls asleep.
And if my work is listening, no, I do not. I've never taken the drug. So
Yes.
But but yeah, it's kind of crazy because a lot of the Larry, I want to definitely know how you think of this because I think it's fucking bananas. It went so fast from like mom and pop shops being able to get licenses to all of a sudden companies were buying up those licenses.
Yep.
I think Florida was like the license is $300,000,
yeah,
something like that to get one. So only big companies are getting it,
Yep.
and then they also were issuing way too many licenses to those companies already. They were buying up way too much in terms of acreage to grow, and you're just like, oh, it's already gone. Oh, we didn't even. There was no chance for workers to even have a chance to make money at it. Like,
that was the goal, right? And what they do is they make rules that do two things: one, ensure that only big business can make money, and two, ensure that the people who are the best at it, meaning ex-cons, can't be part of it.
Right, of course.
Right. So we make sure they can't be part of it, even though that solves two problems. One,
right,
there's a talent issue when it comes to weed, right? And the people who used to deal in it are the best talent. So you're literally keeping the best talent out of the market. And two, these people have criminal records.
Right,
they
so
can't get work anyplace else.
Right.
And this is what they know. Let them back in the field.
Could you imagine the irony? Sorry, buddy. Could you imagine the irony of having the same question on there? Do you have a felony or anything like that on there?
Yes, exactly.
Do you imagine the irony of it? It's like, well, yeah, I only got busted for weed that once.
Yes.
Are you telling me you're denying me the job now?
Yeah.
You got a felony, dude. Sorry.
There's people in Nevada and California who for weed are in jail for 20 years and now it's legal. They're like, what the fuck? Expunge me?
Why am I in jail now?
Why am I in jail?
This is the big thing. I think that, and Jimmy Dore has talked about this, a progressive comic, but we need to be asking for those things. Like I just want people to ask for the stuff. And I hear it right now and like, yes, police reform and things like that. I want to be asking for actually let those people out. We all know they're already there. We just still haven't let them out. It's like a weird summer camp that we sent them to. Realized we fucked it. Well, right. But I mean, and now it's just like, if you're going to sit in the street and occupy.
I was going to say, it's funny
this
too.
is the issue that I want to bring up here, right? There is an issue here. The issue whenever you want to get rid of government, remember something, what government is at its core is, while it's violence, that's not what I mean. For society as a whole, what government actually is a massive jobs program.
Right.
That's what government actually is at its core for the average American. For those people who are stuck in the prison system or the justice system, it's enforced violence. Right. For those foreigners who get bombed by us, it's monopolized violence, right? That's what it is. But for the average American, it's a massive jobs program. So the second you go, I'm going to let people out of jail, what do correction officers do? Whoa, I'm not going to have a job. I got a union. I got prisoners, all those. I get it. So if you remember when I was running for governor, you don't remember this, so I'm going to say it as if you did. So
I do.
Tell us more about the
I do.
Patty.
Thank you. I was talking about instead of just letting them out right away, and people got mad at me. Libertarians said, how come you can't let them out right away? Because many of them have actually been in prison for 10, 15, or 20 years. And while they weren't violent when they went in, they're violent now, right? Yep. Because prison has made them violent.
Because it's not about rehab.
Thank you. It's not rehab. Punishment. And many of them are actually on worse drugs now than they were ever on. So what I need an actual separations program for all of them to get them back into the world. So what I was saying is I then create a secondary part of the prison system, which is now a separation system.
Sure.
So as I start getting people out of prison, I use those same guys. And if you know any corrections officers, I know many of them. I travel to many prisons when I cross New York State. A lot of them, corrections officers, some of them, particularly younger ones, they actually don't mind still being with the men and fighting and doing that stuff. But a lot of the older ones, they're like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. A guy would say to me, Larry, I don't want to roll around on the floor with these guys anymore. Yeah, okay, then you're a candidate voluntarily to be part of this thing. You've been around the block. You know these guys very well. You can help bring them in and know, okay, don't put these three guys together. Put these two guys together. Let's start the separations progress, which might be 3 to 6 to 9 months. And while you're doing that, you simply stop hiring. This way you don't have to fire people. No one loses their job. You just stop hiring and you shift these people now into this realm. This will take years to happen, and we should have a good separation system anyway. So now they'll stay in that. Some will go off and become social workers. Some will retire. Some will do something else. But now jobs don't have to be lost, and we just stop hiring.
Larry Sharpe, L Sharpie just put his mark on that one, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Because that's what I look for when I in terms of for solutions that are like, what you do? Well, I didn't even think. Because to your point, of course, our government would maybe just like fine, then release them. Whoa, you did all this damage.
Right.
You did all this damage to them. You should. I mean, get some education.
Yeah, you're the one who made him a fucking psychopath.
I mean,
yeah.
geez,
but I don't want to send that person off into the world.
Right. They need help, obviously. I mean, Khalif Browder is like one of the worst cases.
Perfect example of that.
Of a terrible guy who's innocent, but says 3 years, 2.5 years in jail and tries to commit suicide in jail. And it's such a tragic story. When, if they were to release, I didn't even think I had to say this. If they were to like, hey, we're going to actually, do that reform and let these people out. I hope. Please, God, don't scare me when I think about this. Of course, I would just think they were like, get outside then. Like,
bye.
I have no social
It'd be funny, like, also take this gun.
Yeah,
get out there.
Exactly. Yes.
America's weird now. There's no more
crazy.
Enjoy. I don't know what to tell you.
There's a virus that doesn't really kill people, but they think it does. I don't know.
They already have COVID. They're going right to the hospital. They're going right to the hospital already.
And by the way, another thing with a real quick thing with that weed licensing in the state is another bullshit thing the state loves to do is, like Neil said, like Pennsylvania, I think the license to just apply, by the way, for a weed license is like $350,000, $400,000. And then if you give that money up and you're like, hey, so when I get my weed license, state goes, oh, you might not even get it. This is just an application.
Yeah.
And they're like, so I just gave you $350,000 for maybe? And they're like, he sure did.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. Thank you for your hard work. My sister-in-law sometimes will say this shit. She'll be like, I'll be like, well, Megan, where are we going to get the money for that? For whatever XYZ program we're talking about. And she'll be like, well, the government will pay for it. I go, can you tell me what job the government has? And she'll be like, what do you mean? I'm like, because the only job I know of the government is called the IRS, and their job is taking our money.
Because they don't have the job is a very important money, a very important job, and that is getting the Fed to print more money.
Right. Yeah.
That is really important.
I'm like,
someone's got to tell the Fed to print money.
Because I'm telling my sister, I'm like, Megan, I'm like, the government isn't picking up a lunchbox every day and going to punch it like a time clock 9 to 5 to be like off to mine the coals. Like, they're just taking our money. Megan, like, wake the fuck up. Like, what do you think is happening?
Does Megan go to the DMV and be like, these people pay us?
Megan works for the local government, so she's kind of fucking not. She's not.
As I told you, it's a massive jobs program, right?
And I told her that too. I'm like. I would feel bad if you lost your job because I love you, you're my sister-in-law, but like you really shouldn't have your job. I'll be honest. I was like, you shouldn't have your job.
But again, I'm not mad at a government worker. It's a system they're put in, right? You've got a system that makes cops act a certain way. You have a system that makes the DA act a certain way. You've got a system that makes people act certain ways. You put them in a situation, you expect them to act a different way. They're just human beings. They're going to act certain ways.
Agreed.
Speaking of that, I got another video for you. It's when you brought to me, Adam.
Yeah.
You brought a video to me. So let's see if I can get this one here if I can, please.
That's a UFC
you may enjoy this.
No, these are all news clips, dummy.
All right.
This one. It's so funny.
Thumbs up.
Supporting the protesters in their little apartment from the third story window.
And take a brick.
Run your side! Run your side! Holy shit! Run your side! Run your side!
You're playing beer pong inside, dude. Man, that is.
Yeah, that's like really bad.
That's so beautiful.
Really bad.
That's very
nice.
Oh,
it's my favorite. He's like, we're on your side. What the fuck?
And then they threw a second one. That's the worst part, right?
Oh, man, that's so funny. That's
the worst part. But this is the point that drives me crazy, right? The guy or the guys, whoever were out there, they're mad. I get it. I understand they're mad. I get that. But what they just did was make shit a whole lot worse.
Of course.
Right? They just made things a whole lot worse. I don't want them throwing a brick through anybody's stuff. I get it. But if you're going to throw a brick, that's the worst place to throw it.
Yeah, go to a government building. I don't get it. Why are we destroying Targets and Walmarts?
In their defense, the people outside, they wrote on, you should come outside. And there was no other way for them to get that to them.
Oh.
They don't have their text. They were like, you guys should come outside and protest with us.
Rubber band around, piece of paper, old school.
So what that brick actually said was, we love you, come outside.
Yes.
That's how they were saying, come on outside. Ah, gotcha.
And the second one just said LOL. on it.
Oh, it said LOL.
The second one was like LOL, JK.
Smiley face, you know.
Got it. Okay, smiley face. Well, now it's okay.
Cow.
Yeah, but
Man, that's
the
so
problem,
we're
right?
on. Oh, just look at young. Anytime, like, oh, young white kid, just like we're on your side. I was like, it's not clicking to you yet. Like they're down there. It's not resonating.
We're playing ping pong in solidarity. See, that's what we're doing. Exactly.
That's just as good as the "Don't Taste Me, Bro" video from back in my college days, or early, whatever that was. Don't taste me, bro.
Let me give you the one that you also sent, which is the reverse of this, right? So I want to do both sides, right? I want to do both sides of this. I'm going to try to be even and fair. I can't always be, but I will try to be in this case if I can. This one is actually heartbreaking in a way.
Hey, don't do that, ma'am. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't police people. Hey, don't police people.
For what if you might not see this, there are two white people who are spraying BLM, right, on a Starbucks. And then there's a black woman saying, "What are you doing?
Stop destroying my neighborhood."
And then the white woman says, "Don't police people." And the black person says, "Don't write Black Lives Matter on that. That's not us. What are you doing?" That's what she's literally doing.
I think she's got a liability claim. Like technically, BLM, I'm in that because I'm black. So actually, you owe me money. It's a copyright problem. Yeah, the copyright problem, and you're using our image of us. So that's kind of fucked up.
She should have wrote her a check right there. Here's your $25 for using BLM. But I mean, this is bad too, right?
Yeah.
The knucklehead throwing the brick in the window is horrible, right? Funnier though, but
hilarious.
Still horrible. And then these people writing BLM, and they're two white people.
Yeah. Well, and later on in this video, I believe she says something like, "The cops are going to blame us."
Yes. Let me go down here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what? They don't care about you guys. They don't care about us. They don't care about anybody.
You guys. Look about you guys.
If you're going to tag Black Lives Matter, ask a black person.
She says, if you're gonna tag Black Lives Matter, how about you ask a black person? She literally says those words to her.
That's because white liberals are the most racist people on the planet. But go on, keep playing this video.
Okay. There we go.
Is there a representative? Look at the regret in both of them right now because they're definitely being called out.
Yes, they know they're in
okay. Where is our supervisor for Black Lives Matter? It's kind of I'm like, because I bet you guys didn't check with anybody.
Where's the picnic table we congregated at before we started? We got to get there.
They're two Karens. Can I speak to your manager?
Yeah.
Can I speak to the BLM manager right now?
Feels like
I want to know where the BLM manager is.
It feels like two people were like off to the sides of a Black Lives Matter kind of group before they went out to protest. And then they were kind of like, they're like, hey, so we got some ideas. Everyone's going to peacefully be protesting. So we're going to march this way. And then just the two, you just hear two little voices off. Yeah, we're going to do something at the Starbucks. What's up? What did she say? What did she say? Did she say what? No, they're fine. It's fine. No, let them go. It's fine. Okay, we're going to let them go. But what I'm wondering if she said, there was a white woman, right? Okay.
But why do they have the spray paint? They walked away with a lot of spray paint from this group. I'm just a little concerned. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it. I also saw another video separate to this where a black woman like chases a car down on foot, a car full of white kids, holding a brick, and hands the brick back to the white girl in the car going, "Don't give this to fucking young black men to throw." It's like, "You're giving this to young black men to throw?" I fucking should have sent that, but it was like after I already sent the email over. So, and she was like, "You're handing this to young black men?" He's like, "The cops are going to fucking, hurt us, not you. You guys are driving away." And it was a car full of young white kids.
Yeah, here she keeps going. Hold on.
They don't show your face when they show that. They show ours.
Right
she
there.
Says they don't show your face when they show that. They show ours.
Dude, that's fucking deep.
That is so powerful
deep.
right there, right?
Yeah.
She's like, these people are going to spray this, and then they're going to show our face like we did it.
It's
Neil,
Starbucks.
It's Neil. Go ahead. I can see it. Do
it's not like she's like doing it. And the fact that the woman is outside, she's like, "Hey, everybody, this is important. It's a Starbucks, you dumb idiot. Like, this isn't the end all be all of fucking existence. Let it go when someone checks you."
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It always comes out of the ability for people not to admit they're wrong, and she's exhibiting that so beautifully.
Yes.
A woman came up and is like, "Hey, I'm black. I kind of represent. I don't know if you know anything. Oh, you're putting it on the wall. Okay, so you kind of do know what I'm talking about. I kind of represent that. I don't know.
Oh,
if you
you're
know
physically writing it out.
So
Okay, I just didn't know.
I'm not like a boss or anything like that. I just kind of feel like I'm involved in it, you know." So maybe don't. And then she argues with her. I'm just like, she could have easily been like, I'm really sorry. I'm actually stopping right now. And then they would have been it. You'd be like, my bad. I'm sorry.
If she just would have been like, whoops, and maybe spray painted out the BLM or something, or just stopped and walked away. Any other option except no, black woman.
Inability of our
be
politicians.
Quiet, black woman.
If we're
going to represent you on this wall. Would you please be quiet? Terrible.
We have too many politicians that can't say oops a daisy sorry. What Clinton, right, we were talking about earlier. He kind of eventually was just like, yeah, maybe the bill I put out there was kind of bad. It really didn't go as well as I thought. We did some good things, but that one was
and like, and then you have Clinton who like and then Biden who still defends it.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know what hill he's dying on, but the hill he's dying on is the hill in the martial arts movies when they fire all the arrows and it's like raining down arrows, and that's the hill he's dying on.
He's like fucking he's like Leonidas, but not cool.
But not cool. Nowhere near his cut. But yeah, still.
He's like an Alzheimer patient, like a saggy.
Challenge you to push-ups. I'll challenge you to push-ups.
Yeah, by the way, that's a weird thing. That's like, you're an 87-year-old man. Who are you gonna fuck up like in a fight? Like you're still like Bruce Lee?
No, you're missing something though. See, Adam, this is what you're missing. You don't know Democrats as well as I do. Democrats love angry Biden. I mean, Neil knows Democrats.
Well, I don't like him, but you can see the tactic. You see the tactic every time.
I guess I don't see it.
Well, Clinton
makes me laugh.
Biden yells and screams he's going to beat up Trump or do more push-ups than Trump. Democrats eat that up. They love it. If I was Biden's campaign manager, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm just saying, if I was, what I would say to him is always the same thing. End every sentence with how you're going to beat up Trump. So when they say, what is your view on healthcare? Doesn't matter. All I know is Trump's going to eat it when I'm done whipping his ass. If he would just say that, he should kiss
if Biden doesn't come out next fucking if he doesn't come out next Zoom interview and just gives like a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump, a Stone Cold Stunner, and then just clasp
yes, absolutely,
2 beers together and just like chug them. What is he doing? He has to do that. Come on.
If he did that, Democrats would rush out in droves to vote for him. Oh my God, he would unite the entire base.
Yeah, and
he might romantically. I might be like, that was awesome. Like, no, wait, he still sucked. Wait a minute.
But no, I would give him props. If he did that, that would be cool. I still wouldn't vote for him.
He's so cool.
But I would absolutely say it was cool, though. I would.
Of course.
I'm clamoring for anybody else.
Joe Jorgensen won the Libertarian nomination.
There is Joe Jorgensen. I'm just saying. There is Joe.
Well, you know what? Now we're getting into the same problem of like, you know, the Jill Stein vote or the Gary Johnson vote, where I'm gonna feel, and everyone's gonna start talking about it when he gets. I don't want to even say when he gets the nomination, and all of us are gonna be like, what are you gonna do, man? Are you gonna use your vote to protest it?
I see it already. No. I see it literally on Joe Jorgensen's page.
Right.
I see libertarians who hate Trump so much. Literally talking about, I got to vote Biden. I see them say it there. And I see my friends, right, who are Democrats here in New York City who go, Larry, I love you, but I got to vote Biden, right? Yeah. I see it. I do. You're right. And I see Republicans, same thing. I got to make sure Biden doesn't get that. I got to vote Trump. I see a lot of it. I really do.
Larry, you put out a great meme the other day that I shared when it was like, I can't vote Libertarian this time because the election of whatever year is too important, and it was like all the years crossed out from like 1970 on, like, you know, and it's like, that's so fucking true. It's so true. It's like every time, and I've had an argument with friends of ours, like Neil, you know, comedian friends of ours who are left leaning, and I was like, guys, I'm like, by the way, again, I'll say this again, if anybody who says Biden is better than Trump, I can't, that's a hard justification to me to make better. Listen to those words. Biden is better than, not like equally as better than. Again, an all-timer pedophile, fucking allegedly pedophile rapist. Allegedly, whatever, is better than Trump. Like, how is he better than? They're both awful. Is that better than?
It's the same thing if I go like, Biden's a big old poopy. And Trump is a big old diarrhea. And you're just you just got to choose, like, do I want a solid poop and just eat more?
But you don't have to. You could choose Joe Jorgensen and actually vote third party.
I would love if we all could, that I don't think the country right now, if they're asking for the reforms they're asking for, they're still trying to get these parties to move, and in the boring way, the unfunny way, or I'll try to make this funny. I kind of feel like, you've had Pepsi and Coke for so long. At this point, people are just like, what about RC? And you're kind of like, I wish RC was doing better, guys. I really wish it was.
Yeah, exactly. A little more fizz. I mean, maybe we could do it,
There's not a Fanta out there you could vote for. It's a
Biden also just said he was going to beat Joe Biden in the presidential election the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Is that right? Oh,
so look it up. Joe Biden said, and I'm going to defeat Joe Biden. Yeah, you are. You already are. You're doing great. You already told black people they're not black. You're fucking doing great.
No, but I got to tell you, I see it, right? I see it already, and we did some polling when I was pushing the Judge Jim Gray to be the nominee, and we see it. A lot of the vote blue, no matter who. That concept is working. Like, there's a lot of Democrats who are like, you're not Trump, I'm in. A bag of potato chips. Don't care. There's a lot of people who are Democrats or even left-leaning. Right. And the reason why they think this, and to your question, Adam, the reason why they say better than Trump is they believe that Trump is the evilest thing in the world. True. And if he's the evilest thing in the world, anything is better than Trump, right? Yeah. So, and you have people on the right who just go, Biden equals Democrats equals socialism. Socialism, the worst thing in the world. Therefore, anything is better than Biden. I think both of them actually have logical reasons to believe that the other, whoever the other is in that case, is just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, of course, I get the obvious logic behind it, where it's like, oh, I can't vote for that guy, he's devil, but it's like that's clearly not working, right? So clearly that's not working, regardless of the logic. It doesn't matter though what the logic is; it's not working. Absolutely. So just figure it out. Let's go to something different.
Right. It's a position where you can't have, again, it's a mass of people trying to figure things out. I don't know if I was down in the protests on Wednesday. It's tough to just even do that. You know what I mean? It's very hard to get people on even message when you have people, so you can imagine where you're like, hey, there's this other party right over here that actually has some candidates. Sure, none of the media covers anything they have to do
at all.
Sure, they don't have as much money to be able to get into the monopoly that is this entire fucking thing of the Democrats. And I forgot that I was an independent. And I mean, I didn't think of myself as a Democrat, but I'm technically an independent in there until I got my ballot in the thing. I was like, oh, that's right. I don't get to vote for anything. I don't do anything. I vote on 2 local things, and they're just these don't fucking care. Well, while the city's burning outside. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, this is good.
Yeah, the other day, my wife,
George brings this up. He says his daughter wants to put anyone but Trump's son in her yard.
Right.
And George, I think your daughter is common. I hear it always. I hear it constantly in New York City. We got all that matters is get rid of Trump, which is why so many Democrats. This is the biggest problem that this problem began during the Nixon years, the Vietnam years, when we began to just kind of split ourselves off and stop crossing over, right? And that's when it began.
Right.
But it really hit hard the second term of Obama. The second term Obama was like, I don't care about Republicans at all. I just want my Democrats to come out, to hell with Republicans. He just stopped. Remember his first term, though, he was still talking. He was still, there's not 2 Americas, there's 1 America. Bush said, I'm a uniter, not a divider. They all had good talk. But second of Obama was like, nope, to hell with Republicans. And then, once that happened, Trump said, hold my beer. Let me tell you how this works. And Trump doubled and tripled down on that.
Right.
So now you have a divisiveness that's so deep, all either side cares about is, will my guys and gals get out and vote? And if my side votes more than your side, I win. And when when Biden goes, I'm going to beat up Trump, that motivates Democrats to show up, and they know it, and that's why he says that stuff, Adam.
I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Bill Clinton did the same thing because Reagan was tough on crime. Nixon, Bill Warren was tough on crime. I mean, you have those kind of talking. Then that's when the Democrats were like, we have to get tough on crime. Then you see all that legislation actually put in the structure that we see now. It's crazy. But I mean, so it's like one of those things where you just got to sit back and you guys realize like the best case scenario for this is literally, I mean, not even the best case. Hopefully, all the policy with the actual presidential candidates. It's like, okay, Biden wins, and then everyone in the country realizes that we need to overhaul the entire thing, and we have so much work ahead of us. And Biden is completely wrong, and is probably going to try to put up a fight against that work. And that's what's gonna. I hope that's the best case. That's the best case.
The worst case, which I'm really worried about. I seriously am worried about this.
Yes,
I am worried that. Whoever wins, right? Trump wins or loses, right? Say, for the sake of argument, he wins. You're going to have literally tens of millions of Democrats who go, it was the Russians that did it, and he's illegitimate. And if Trump loses, you're going to have tens of millions of Republicans who go, the Russians did it. He is illegitimate. It doesn't matter. Right. Either way, we are going to have a bunch of Americans, tens of millions of them, who feel like the president is illegitimate. And if that's the case, we have to have a good third party, a good libertarian movement for them to come. If they don't come to us, they will do one of two things. Both are bad. They will either just they'll just disconnect, right, or they result to sporadic violence. Right. Both are a bad idea, particularly if COVID is still around and we're still in some form of lockdown, or the economy is still garbage, or people are still sitting at home with nothing to do. Oh my God, the last thing you want is a bunch of young men at home with nothing to do and then angry because their guy lost. Not a good one.
Yeah, right.
If Democrats don't realize that if Joe Biden gets in, we're basically going back like in time. That's basically what's happening. If you don't realize that, you are a fool. That we're basically like, oh, all right, so we basically just still need to get in the streets and sit down and do general protest because nothing changed. Okay, that's fine. If you don't realize that and you're thinking he's going to fix something, stop with this whole, they're not actually leaders. They're it's a mailman. You pay a mailman to do stuff for you. You got to get fucking in charge here. Anyway, sorry.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, even like with the local votes June 2nd the other day, my wife, she was able to vote. And she was like, you want to come vote with me? I was like, I'll go with you, but I can't vote. And she's like, why? I was like, there's no libertarians to vote for. What do you mean? there's no primary for libertarians. Like, I'll go and hang out. I'll drive you.
Let's hang out. Vote. I love it. Let's have lunch after.
Dipping into the line. What's it like to feel like shit for voting for either? Right? I know it's crazy.
I'm just out the dog. I'm just hanging the dog out the window. Like, you guys are all sheep. Just yelling out the window. And the dog's like, roar, roar. I'm like, yeah, tell him.
I love that. You guys are all sheep. I love that. Very good. All right, I got more. Hold on, I got more.
Hit it.
All right. I want to do. Let's see if I could do. This one is a crazy one. You sent this one, so this one is a little bit aggressive.
By the way, Neil, I'm starting to think they didn't get the email I sent with your clips.
Oh, good.
Did you send it with your clips? I didn't get that one.
I don't think you did.
Links. I didn't send like the clip. I sent just links.
I know, but I don't think that email got through. I'm sorry, buddy.
No big deal. I mean, it is what it is.
You remember this one?
I haven't seen
All they're doing is just being angry.
Just chanting peacefully.
They're chanting.
Now watch the bottom of the screen, like to the bottom of that fence. You start to see some pushing.
Push.
But now the cops push first. Now watch.
Yep, and
bam.
then boom. Mace.
All the pepper spray comes out.
Pepper spray pours out.
And then what starts coming out?
Pepper spray comes out. More pepper spray.
Now here it comes. Here it comes.
Boom, 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 boom. There
boom,
it is.
boom, boom.
Are those the pepper ones, or are those what are those?
Those look like tear gas.
Yeah, tear gas and flashbangs.
Tear gas and flashbangs, yeah.
Yeah, tear gas and
flashbangs. Which I just heard that apparently using tear gas on American citizens is super illegal. Is that true?
No, depends on what type.
Catch all. All right.
Adam, this is the light. This is
the
light
that's
one.
True.
Seal Light.
This is the Pepsi Light. This is what that is.
And the gas, I believe, is called CS, if I'm not mistaken. And there's like a CS
gas
and like a CW or whatever. There's a certain level of each. I know because when I was in the Marine Corps, I got gassed all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
I got gassed twice a year. I know exactly what tear gas tastes like, smells like, in your eyes. I know exactly how it works. So I've been gassed.
Yeah, I've been pepper spray before too. It sucks.
There we go. Yes, so there we go.
That's the time that you did it to yourself when drinking. I think I'm pretty sure.
That's not relevant to the conversation.
It doesn't matter.
I don't understand. It doesn't matter. Maybe I was on mushrooms. It's not important. It's not important how I did it.
Maybe he was aroused, Neil. Stop judging.
Yeah, don't worry about how I get off. You know, this is not the platform for that. If you want to follow my other podcast, you come to Nerds with Words for that talk.
Here we go.
Hey, by the way, follow me at Adam Nutter on Twitter. I talk a lot of shit, and I'm also funny on there. So at Adam Nutter on Twitter. Follow me.
There we go. So I think the issue here with this one, which drives me crazy, is how fast it exploded.
It escalated like immediately.
Massive. Right. That's my issue. Look, if the cops are being Molotov cocktailed or whatever, I get it. You got to fight back.
It's different. They're going to defend themselves. Yeah.
Right. You have to defend yourself. I'm not saying cops should sit there and get Molotov cocktail. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that really exploded quickly. It went from some guy going, whatever, the hell with you, cop, or whatever they said to the cop. Who knows? We can't see. I'm sure they were insulting the cops. I mean, I'm sure they were, right?
Who cares?
Right, yeah. But
words don't matter.
To trashing the whole place with pepper spray and mace. And then flashbangs and tear gas. Oh,
and those
my
were
God.
Like the crazy canister ones that launched like feet.
Yeah.
Did you see those spray streams? They're like a fire hose.
Yes, absolutely.
It was bear mace canisters. Yeah. Like a little like.
It was the dog, the bounty hunter canisters they were using.
It was. That's the issue that got me, right? Look, I want cops. They're still humans, right? I know people are mad at cops. They're still human beings. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to get bombed. Of course not. I want them to defend themselves. But at the same time, if you're going to be a cop, then you got to know that people are sometimes going to yell at you.
Yeah, it's like it's also obvious. It's so funny how it's this tweet I'm stealing, but the police can't stop doing brutality at the Stop Police Brutality protest. Like they're just doing more brutality. Like they're like, we're not brutal. Let us show you and double down on our brutality.
Let's double down on it. Yes.
And by the way, I could tell you from NYPD experience, like. I'm telling you, NYPD has 35,000 members. Their mentality is like, we're going to be more violent than you to stop it. And they can because they have the numbers to do it. So they will. And there's no way you're stopping their numbers unless you escalate the force. But like
they take like a real UFC like fighting at each other, like in the press conference thing of like, I'm gonna kill your mother. Like they're like, whoa, holy shit.
Oh no, dude, NYPD straight up, they'll be like, fuck you. It's like, yeah, that's how it is. It's like that's how it is, man. Like that's what they do, and they're good. But like other police departments can't do that. They don't have the manpower, so they're gonna hit you with like weapons way quicker because they can't have the manpower to just bully you. So it's gonna be, but none of it's good, by the way. None of it's good. It's just different types of escalations and force, and different types of manpower issues.
The Boston Police Department's done a decently good job in. They now have two different cops that sit in every car. Well, not every car, but a bunch of areas where they have one cop who is decked out in all the gear, and one cop that's literally in khakis and a shirt.
Right.
So that, what do you need, right? Is this a situation to where the khaki shirt guy should be like, hey, can we talk this out? Or is this I got to put some guy on the ground, right? Which one is it? So if you need to put the guy on the ground, the guy there is ready for that. He'll put you on the ground. If it's we can talk this out, let's have a conversation. If it's that, then that guy's there. And I wish New York would go to that level of having both types there, because there are cops who would love to do that, who would rather be.
They have a division called community. Anyone you see in the bright blue polo shirts in NYPD, that's Community Affairs Division, which is funny. They're also beating people with batons. Real community. They're dividing the community, all right. But like here, this is and Larry, hear me out. My plan with the NYPD, what they should do, because they have 35,000 members. Here's what they should have done. Even for optics alone. They don't have to care about the cause. They don't have to tell people they care, right? Lie. Who cares? So even if they don't care about the cause, even if they don't care about the cause for their own optics, right? For their own sake, what they should have done was been like, guys, you know what? We're on your side. This is fucking terrible. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have 400 cops marching with you guys with just wearing uniforms, no guns, and then you know what you do because you have so many members? You have an extra 1,000 cops in regular gear on the sidewalks protecting everything just to make sure in case pops off. But the optics are, we had like hundreds of cops walking with us. They're not even armed.
Right.
Because no one's going to focus on the armed cops on the side when you could have all that. But no. They're going to go, mount up! Like,
right.
They're going to mount up like fucking Voltron and just come in there like a goddamn cool-ass robot sequence build-up suit and just tune people up. That's what they're going to do instead of doing my idea, which they could easily do. You have the manpower.
That's
You
true.
have the community affairs division. Like, use them. But
No, I
whatever.
agree.
I'm dumb, I guess. I'm a dumb comic.
No,
I don't know.
I love what you said. I think it's amazing. All right, I want to just talk about this. I want to bring up something else. This is how bold they are. So last one I bring up, this is how bold they actually are. They actually arrested a CNN reporter live on TV. There were 4 people there. He was the only black guy. They arrested him live on CNN.
What did he? No, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not even going to make that joke.
That was a bad joke, but it doesn't matter. My point is, even if he did something bad, oh my God, the optics of this are terrible.
It doesn't make
I
any
mean, you
sense.
should at least.
This is Oscar Jimenez, right?
Just lie and say he was innocent and arrest the other guys. I mean, the optics are terrible.
This is Oscar Jimenez, right?
I haven't.
Yes, it is Jimenez. Yes, it is.
They by the way, they did wind up arresting the other guys, but like off camera, way after the fact.
They did afterwards.
Arrested him. Yeah, it's like not a great optic. Again,
move back to where you'd like.
So look, he's saying
you can move back to where you'd like. Here.
I'll move back to where you'd like.
We are live on the air at the moment.
We're live on the air, right?
This is the 4 of us. We are one team.
See, 4 of us, one team.
Put us back where you want us.
Put us where you want us.
Way, so
totally defending him, defenseless. Totally put us where you want. No worries. Do what you got to do.
Wherever you'd want us, we will go. We were just getting out of your way when you were advancing through the intersection.
See, we're getting out of your way.
Just let us know, and we got you.
And but this is like clearly CNN. This isn't like an independent. But
That's
even
correct.
if it was an independent news journalist, this shouldn't be happening.
He's going to show
but
you.
this is like clear as day CNN.
He's got his ID.
In Minneapolis, this is
He's showing his
part
idea.
of the advanced police presence that we saw come over the course of really minutes when the local police
He's
showed up
expressing
at
it,
the
whatever,
fire department, or
boom.
with the fire department, I should say, on that building.
And
that
that's
showed that
it.
was
He's calm.
burning.
He's calm.
This is
All
among the
good.
state patrol unit
He's
that was
expressing what's
advancing
happening.
off the street.
What do you want to do?
And scattering the protesters at that point.
Talking.
For people to clear the area.
He's saying
So
people
we
clear
walked
the area. Come on.
I'm sorry.
All good. Arrested.
Okay. Do you mind
Whoa, whoa,
telling
whoa,
me
whoa.
why I'm under arrest, sir?
And they won't even tell him
am I
why.
under arrest, sir?
No, well, no. At this point, there is.
I'm not telling you. Doesn't tell him.
Okay.
And
Said
then,
nothing.
yeah, and this
Live
video
on
keeps
TV.
playing. This is
They
live.
grab the black guy. And they arrest him.
Like,
And then you start to see them arrest like the sound guy, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yes. What are you doing?
And by the way, I despise CNN as a network, but this is the worst. Like, you can't have
look,
this.
I'm saying it's the optics, right? Even
Right.
if this guy, the tone deafness of the police force at this point
Psychotic.
is horrible. I mean, at a minimum, it's gonna sound horrible when I say it, but at a minimum, have them shut the camera off.
right.
Something. I mean, just
Break it.
break the camera. I'm even saying that. But
I
I'm
know,
just
but
saying that-
I know. As from their perspective, like if you're gonna do this, like be better at it. Like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But this goes to your point, Adam. The cops actually don't care.
They don't care at all. At all.
They're like, I'm just doing it. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it. And all I've been saying, and a lot of people have been mad at me when I say this, but all I actually want is some empathy. And I want you just to go, you know what? I get it. It really looks bad to do this. And it just makes the people of color in this country feel worse.
Yeah.
So let's not do it because they're going to feel worse. And it's going to make it worse between cops and us. It's going to make it worse between everything. Can we just not do this right now? Can we just let this guy go, say, go over there? That's what we want
Right.
to press people in our press pit. And then they go to the press pit or whatever. There were many ways.
How about the
dealing with
Secret
this.
Service police beating the shit out of the camera guy with the shield?
Oh my God. What is,
He was like fucking like like he was Russell Crowe in Gladiator.
yes.
And it's like yeah, but like again, I hate CNN. Like when the people turned on CNN, I laughed so hard in Atlanta when they were like, fuck CNN. I was like, yeah, fuck CNN. But that's the people making their voice heard. Like, we don't like CNN. That's
Yes.
that's fine to me. But as soon
100%.
as this state starts to be like, we're going to let journalists, no matter if I agree with them as a news outlet or not, I can't have that. I have to side with CNN. Now you're making me side with CNN, police.
I
Let me
know
see
that. See that? The cops that made you support CNN.
Yeah.
I love that.
Garbage.
Yes.
You guys are garbage.
I 100%, I get it. Yes, it's really bad. See, yeah, It's
I
bad
was waiting
optics.
for one of the cops to be like, "Hey, man, I really actually love your work. Your report is really good. I know this is very weird that I'm making this do this on camera. It's crazy. I feel like we could have moved you right over there and have been fine. But,
yes,
whatever. Anyway,
that Buffalo video when the cop pushes that guy, you know what he does to piss me off too? He like looks over him and does like the "what's up" flex.
Yeah,
like. Right. Dude, I'll fuck you up. Like, I'll fuck you up. I'll find that guy and fuck him up. Like, get out of here.
It's like the Patrice O'Neal mouth when he's like, yeah.
And
you're like, that guy's 87 years old, dude. I think he was leaning on that post because he couldn't walk.
That cop was like, take his socks. He just did the Patrice bit. He just did the whole Patrice bit. Like, take his socks.
What I thought was terrible about that, again, this goes back to the empathy piece. They pushed the old man down. There's blood coming out of his ear. And there was no empathy. There was no.
The one cop looked around.
God, blood's coming out of his ear.
Like, one cop goes, arrest that guy, and then he gets on the radio to like call for EMS, I guess. And it's like, but no one tended to him. No one bent down. It's like it's such bad. It's optics. It's such bad optics.
Yes.
And then those two guys get suspended. Well, okay, who gives a fuck? They'll probably get fired, but like, damage is done, man. It's unnecessary. The guy isn't gonna fuck you up.
They won't. The thing that bothers me about this style is I was a Marine. Now I was never a combat Marine. I trained Marines to go into combat during the first Gulf War, but I never went into combat. The Marines that fought in combat, they fight against enemies who hide, who blow them up, who shoot them, who will do all types of things. And they have stricter rules of engagement than our police force.
They do.
They have stricter rules of engagement than our police force on our own populace.
Agreed.
This is what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the guy.
How about? I'm sorry. Like,
there's a guy one of the guys who was who worked on my team when I ran for governor. He was a guard at Gitmo. He was a sailor, a guard at Guantanamo Bay. And he would talk about
those gremlins. Those gremlins are my favorite gremlins.
Oh my God. It was horrible.
Sorry, continue.
How the people should treat it. Would talk to him. They would yell. And some of these guys were really bad guys. And what made him feel horrible, he got PTSD from this. They're part of the people who were there were completely horrible and bad people. And some were just wrong place, wrong time. Right. Gitmo is filled with both, right? And they're together, the most horrible terrorists you can assume, and people who happen to have the same name as some guy and they wanted to collect some money on the guy because we were paying bounties for people, both in the same place. They would yell at him. They would throw their feces at him. Right. They would throw piles of shit at him. They'd call him shit man. They would throw stuff.
Not super clever, but we could punch that up.
That was the English thing. They would do that, and he couldn't beat them up. He couldn't respond because they were prisoners, and he was in the military. He is under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He may not torture prisoners unless you're CIA.
Yeah.
But he wasn't CIA, so he can't torture prisoners. So he's not supposed to do that. He can't do that. He had worse and harsher rules of engagement than their own police force. We could at least match that.
Yeah, it blows me away when people are like, "Oh, the troops are going to come in and take care of the civil unrest." I'm like, "Yeah, because the troops have a great track record of keeping peace in the Middle East."
I've been trying to find, like, I did get onto a couple of police protocols. I was trying to find. I was like, when did we just go, like, I don't know, when handling riots, guys? Just, I don't know. It's like jazz. Just kind of go out there, kind of feel it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
There's some shit too. You'd be like, I don't like this guy. Fuck it. Like, it feels like when I was Wednesday marching, there was just one cop, and again, it's a very small, tiny thing because the protests on Wednesday, and so far, most of them now in Philadelphia, for my idea, what we've seen, it's been very, very peaceful. So we're peacefully protesting. Now, yes, people are yelling. Some people are yelling things like there was a possible "fuck the police" that had happened. But the majority of that, even the majority of the crowd was actually not even yelling with them. Like, there was just that would kind of start and then go, and everyone's like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up, man. You don't have to say pigs." Like, it's come on, But one guy, and you see it as it started to get closer to curfew, full gear, and then he had his baton out already. And you're just kind of like, hey, man,
wow.
Nothing. That's nothing, right? Like, you're like, that's nothing compared to the things we're seeing. But like, I was like, hey, dude, baton out. I'm like, I was like, nothing has happened. There's a baby on that guy's shoulders over there.
Yes.
He's like, fuck that baby, though.
Your baton out.
Baby's fucking eyeing me up.
Yeah, I mean, and they're pretending. Right.
Baby's eyeing me up.
I don't like his crazy eyes. Dude.
Oh, my God.
How much eye condition? Son of a bitch. Like but yeah, I was just kind of like already. I'm like, you guys are already not getting it. Like, nothing has happened. So
absolutely.
Yeah, did you see that video of the NYPD arresting the guy on his steps during curfew? He's on his front porch.
What is happening in New York City? So, because I keep seeing Cuomo
chaos
come out and be like, so last night was a good night. It was pretty good. Everyone was real safe. And then I see the videos and
it's like,
and
that's
you're just
so
like,
good.
What is happening? Like, so I mean, Larry, what is, I just don't understand how Cuomo's even answering, or like, I keep watching. I just don't understand how he's equating these things.
He's a bad governor. He's a bad person.
He's a bad guy.
Yes, and still a lot of people support him because Republican evil.
His name's fun to say. Oh, okay.
Republican evil. That's
if you had cool nipple rings, your brother was on CNN, and your dad was a former mayor, governor of New York, you got a lot going for you, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I'm just saying, Frank does have a point about that baby. I mean, kids in horror movies are the scariest.
Yeah, yo. And by the way, if you bring your kid to like a riot, you're an asshole too.
Not
that. I'm talking about those videos of like full on riots and there's like people holding their kids. I'm like, maybe take them home.
You should probably go. Yeah,
maybe you're a bad parent. Like, you know, I'm not talking about the peaceful. I'm not talking about that, but yeah,
well, they all start. A lot of them start as peaceful, buddy.
True.
You know
that's true. Yes,
that's true.
The one that we saw where the cops just immediately started macing. I don't know if they were just like, any kids. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck it.
That's fair.
Because it's like that one. I've never seen that video before, and that one it does feel like, again, it doesn't seem like cops are trained, obviously, with policing at the regard that we need them to, but even riots, like that seems like the 1960. That seems like or the riot 64, 65. Like, you guys just seem to be improving. Just kind of like,
exactly.
I don't know, man.
They're like,
did you
we have
shoot?
dogs.
Fuck it, I'm shooting, dude. Fuck it. Like, it's like, it's
I'm
just,
surprised they're just letting fucking shepherds go into the streets, being like, get him. Just letting, you know, like the 60s.
When my wife asked me, she said, why do New York City cops still have horses? Doesn't make any sense. Don't we have cars? And I say, that's right. It's crowd control.
Yeah, straight up.
Horses are very good on crowd control.
Because why would you want to stand in front of a Clydesdale?
That's why? I'm like, yes, that you have horses because actually it's better controlling crowds with horses than cars. It's like, oh, that's the reason why.
Yeah, I'd rather stand in front of a car than a horse. I'm not even kidding. Horses are terrifying.
It's been so easy to claim that the horses who've accidentally kicked in a riot, and those horses, this is unsung. No one talks about this. They get put down immediately, and it's a shame. I don't know that to be true. I'm
really?
making that.
Oh, I thought you fucking had me going.
No, making that up.
I was so convincing.
If they kick the right people, the horse gets a medal.
Those horses actually, those horses go to make police glue, and no one knows about that, and no one talks about it. But it's a whole thing.
Glue. I love
That's what holds a lot of their.
It only holds together police issued items.
That's very true. They don't use duct tape in the police. It's a whole thing.
All right, I want to do one funny one. I said the last one, I was lying. There's one more funny one I want to show. It's kind of bad, but I just think maybe this will lighten things up a bit because we had a couple serious ones. So let me see if I can grab this one real fast.
I also briefly wanted to bring up Antifa because Neil and I keep talking about Antifa.
I don't want to.
This guy.
Shut up.
You talked about this one. I love it.
Yeah, this is so funny.
He just stole an ATM machine. So
I like how he's doing the walk. Like
he's serious.
You're walking it like a heavy item.
Yep.
This has got to be a Saturday Night Live sketch. This cannot be real.
This is Jersey.
Dirty Jersey. Oh, your home state, Neil. This is your fucking state.
I do not confirm or deny.
Like, no.
Come on. Open the door for me.
He's like, "What's up, man? You holding me on the bus?"
Hey, dude, this isn't what you think, man. This is homework.
Made money together.
You hear that? He yells, "We could have made money together." That's what he literally just yelled. He was like, "Just take me home.
I wanted to hear what the bus drivers. Do you think the bus driver's like, "Is that a fucking ATM?" Like, just like you know, that's
what he's thinking.
Like, that's so. I like he was like this guy's blown away. Like, he just can't get on the bus. He's like, I don't understand. The issue.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The bus
What's the problem?
Crazy.
I'm paying for the bus. Let me on.
Money. Look, it's right here. I can pay for the bus.
No. This isn't what it looks like. This is the largest, weirdest wallet you've ever seen.
That's all it is.
That's all this is, buddy. Just back.
It'd be funny if you had a leash. He's like, I'm just walking my ATM machine. What do you mean? Just let me on.
I'm walking my ATM machine.
ATM machine? ATM machine?
Shut up.
It makes
Shut
ATM.
up. Shut up. I know what the M is, the machine and the ATM. Fuck you.
Dude.
Anyway,
it is a machine that makes ATMs. Yes, it's an ATM machine. Thank you. That's what it is.
Neil has a lot of questions on Antifa. I don't have all the answers to Antifa. Maybe you have more answers to Antifa. My point is, Antifa destroys shit.
Adrian wants to talk about Antifa also. Let's talk about it.
Bam.
Yeah, my whole thing is I don't like any equivalencies that, and I don't think Adam was making these equivalencies, but I keep trying to have sometimes I feel like he might. It's things when I like false equivalencies of just like, oh well, neo-Nazis and Antifa, they're both in these riots. I go like, well, wait, hold on, buddy. I mean, yes,
Neil, course, someone's got something for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Said, shut up and put in your PIN number.
Nice. So, I like it, dude.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
187. Oh, wait, I was saying you caught me, dude, for a brief moment. Yeah, I just don't like any kind of, so I go like, because Trump's trying to do that now, right? It's a thing of like, oh, no, it wasn't us. No, nothing, not all the mistakes, all the things I've said, the moving near the church, like all of it's up. No, it wasn't us. It's Antifa. Like, it's like, no, dude, that's like, stop. It's a decentralized thing. You wouldn't be able to track them or even claim that they were terrorists, even because it doesn't fit under the terror. Like in terms of domestic terrorism, you wouldn't be able to claim what he wants to claim them
don't
as.
They have like?
But there is no leader. Yeah, there's no leaders or sections of it.
But then what's what's that? That Project Veritas. They just did a whole Antifa thing, where they like infiltrated like Antifa organizations, and they were giving them like tactics of like disruption and fighting and weapons and shit.
Let's hopefully we can be honest about this.
Right.
Is Antifa taking advantage of this?
Sure.
Of course.
Right.
I mean, of course. There's no doubt Antifa's taking advantage of this. The odds of those people doing that BLM stuff, they were probably Antifa, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
We don't know. There's no. We don't know.
But probably, if someone had told me that, I wouldn't doubt it. Is what I'm saying.
That's the thing, because that's what they do.
Could be Antifa, but that doesn't mean that everybody's Antifa,
right?
And it also doesn't mean that now the protests are invalid, and it also doesn't take away the terrible response that we've had to protest.
Right.
It just means Antifa does a lot of bad stuff, and we should be aware of that. And we knew that before the protests.
Like here's my point. When I'm seeing like a lot of these, again, white kids with skateboards where like they have like ponytail, like dyed hair. It's like these aren't white nationalists, clearly. Like unless they're doing great cosplay and they're super dedicated, like Daniel Day-Lewis, and like I'm going to train for 5 years to be an Antifa alt kid, and like I'm going to dive into it. Like, they're not. Let's be honest. Like like they're clearly that Antifa left-leaning alt group. That's fucking those kids. Now, I'm sure there's other factions. That's not my point. My point is Antifa is also doing a large part of the destruction that's clear as day. And it's weird that a lot of people are trying to say no to it. Like, why are we so hard trying to defend against Antifa? That's my point.
It wasn't saying no. I just always go to I hate to do this. I always go to the FBI and go, the fact in the past 30 years, I know you don't like it. I know he doesn't like it. Yeah, I know. But when you go to, let's just not even say FBI, right? Let's go, who does some organizations in the United States who try to defend the country and look and domestically, who are they typically looking at? I mean, since the 90s, especially the 90s, you had huge upticks in terms of neo-Nazis, nationalists.
Right.
Like you had those kind of things.
True. That's true. Yes.
And that's fine.
But that could still be a thing, and they could be doing this thing.
And no one's disputing that. And we're all saying that. It's a thing of, I think, and because it's hard to trace, and Antifa is somewhat new. Well, not new, actually, in terms of the 1930s when the Nazis were coming over here.
Well, no,
is when it first started.
The strength of Antifa in America is new.
Yes, is new. And I just don't, I keep looking at it, and when he goes to it, I bet you, I keep going like, the numbers at which I think Antifa even exists, I just don't know it to be true. And no one knows it right now. But the fact that he can use it as a scapegoat gets me very annoyed because I go like, but again, science, we don't have enough numbers. There's not enough there to figure out like,
this is the point, Neil, that I'm with you on this. Now, this is the issue. My issue isn't that Antifa is good or bad. Clearly, it's a violent organization. Clearly, that's true. Obviously, that's true.
Sure.
My issue is it's not black and white, meaning it isn't, if it wasn't for Antifa, no black people would die, right? It's not that. If it wasn't for Antifa, there'd be no violence at all. That's not true. And that's what they're trying to use.
Which is bullshit.
Correct. It can be gray. It can be Antifa sucks.
Exactly.
And we should
That's
stop
my point.
them. and protesting is still okay.
Right.
And you also have the problem of white nationalism. Like that's what I'm saying. It could all be a problem. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. And not, Neil, not you obviously, but like if you look on Twitter a lot, people be like, "Where's the Antifa members?" Huh? It's like I don't know. Look at the Project Veritas videos when they're in the groups and they're like, "We're Antifa. Hey, how's it going?" Like welcome to chaos. Welcome to Antifa group. Like, you can go watch these videos yourself. Like. This is true. Like they have plenty of fucking meetings and meetups where they're under the banner of Antifa. Yes. And again, it doesn't mean all of Antifa is engaging in violent activity, but clearly there's factions within Antifa that they're operating under the banner of Antifa, which makes them Antifa. Sorry. Like there's no.
And also most of America, this is the sad part about Antifa, is that most United States citizens are or would agree, not with obviously the violence. They would go like, yeah, we're all anti-fascist.
Libertarians are all anti-fascist. Everybody's anti-fascist. Yeah. By the way, what was the actual name of the fascist party in Germany? The National Workers Union of Socialist, National Socialist Workers Union. Names mean nothing. Names mean so Antifa is like I saw someone on Twitter do that breakdown. They're like, look at the name. Anti means against. Fascist means against fascists. It says it in the name, and I'm like,
well, the Patriot Act isn't very patriotic.
Right. Yeah. That's the dumbest second grade argument I've ever heard in my life. Like, I'm not an idiot, guy. Get the fuck out of here.
Your Honor, I want to put forward jumbo shrimp.
Right.
In terms of names, Your Honor, I just want to use that as
oxymorons do exist.
I am a Southern lawyer. I will see you later. Like,
fuck out of here.
I just don't.
Defense rest, Your Honor.
We need an old Southern KFC lawyer.
I think
what we need.
I think what I've been
banning himself.
As soon as he started, when I saw that, I was like, I just don't want this to be a talking point. I understand that Antifa's in it. I get that whole thing. I'm just like, I just want to remove it. I'm thinking ahead. I'm just like, get out in front of it because you know that's what they're going to want to run with. And it's crazy. And he's already doing it. He's already solidified that as his like thing. It's like, no, this is people on the left and Antifa, and that's all it is. And people are screaming about death. I mean, already. I mean, Jesus, in the protest, what the Mactia, the poor gentleman who had the cops come over. I'm sorry, this is just happened. I think on June 4th during the protest, the cops come over. They're trying to break people up. He's inside his domicile, like in his house. I think he's grilling at that point. He's barbecuing, smoking meat, and then all of a sudden, they fire pepper shot in. Now Again, Adam's going to agree with this. I'm going to agree with this. He had a revolver. He takes that out. You see this in the footage. They did this. They did the timeline. And you see him go like, yeah, well, because he doesn't know who the fuck is shooting.
He's getting attacked
outside of his building. So he's like, yeah, okay, what's happening? He pokes out. They fire more into him. I think he then eventually does exchange fire, but then they killed him. Yeah, they killed him.
But I know that sounds psychotic. If I could be like, if the police are innocently pepper spraying in your backyard, why aren't you allowed to return fire to the police?
Well, you are. That's the thing. I think right now, and there is no laws and things like this that are holding any of this. The police are just saying it carte blanche to go like, we are an authority of power, and you would heel to us.
Because Neil and I talked about the one video on Nerds of Words on Sunday where it was in Minneapolis when the people were on their front porch. And it was like a residential street, and the cops just started paint targeting them.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
On their porch.
Yep.
It's like, why aren't they now allowed to get a rifle? Because now to me, that's a hostile invading force now. Why can't you get a rifle and shoot back? If you do that, they'll kill you and they'll arrest you or whatever. Like Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, just got his charges dropped, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's big. Yeah,
that story is again. That's like the Duncan Lemp story. But
it's amazingly unfunny. But also, it's just the other time that cop has to look at that video. It's like, well, if he did that to my porch, I would have immediately shot him. Like it's like, yeah, dude,
right.
Get on this side. What are you talking
about?
But that is my point, right? My entire point is, could you imagine the reverse? Let's go to a crazy part when it comes to George Floyd. Could you imagine the reverse? Could you? And I'll go worse to make it even worse. Imagine a cop was drunk and pulled his firearm out.
That's happened in the 70s, but go on.
Yep. And was threatening to shoot people, and I'm going to kill you. I'm making this up, obviously, for the sake of argument. And I'm going to threaten to kill you. I'll shoot all of you. And then 3 black guys grab him and push him down. He's still squirming. Because they don't have handcuffs. So he's still squirming, drunk. They get the gun away from him. One of the black guys, by mistake, has his knee in the cop's neck. The cop dies. Think about the reverse.
Oh, they're going to jail immediately.
Correct.
Not even close. Not even an inch iota of thought. It's like, have fun in prison, bitch. See you later.
And if there is no video,
Double prison.
They're done.
Super time prison.
They're done. They're done.
Yeah,
Right? Because here's the worst part. If they're smart, what will they do? If there's no video, they will just run.
That's
right.
They wouldn't stay there.
No.
Why would you stay there to go to jail for the rest of your life? They're going to run.
Right.
Now, when they run, someone is gonna squeal on them, and because the cops will now go through every single place to find the cop killers, right? They'll find them, and now they're also resisting arrest and running, so they might not even survive getting back to the jail. They might have an accident on the way back because they're cop killers.
By the way, if someone calls the cops on you, and like if you're not doing it, like, if you're one of these people who get the cops calling you because that guy's being an asshole, like a Karen's calling the cops on you for whatever reason, like you're walking your dog and she's like, you can't walk your dog here. Just don't stay. Leave. Like, do not stay for the cop.
This is a cop telling you this, guys.
No, former comedian.
Former cop. Sorry.
Current comic. Former. No, but like by the way, that's a big thing I have to tell a lot of white people. Like, leave. Like, don't. Every minority got that message a long time ago.
Yes,
white people are the idiots who are still staying. And I'm like, walk away. By the way, on Nerds, I told certain Nerds words. Some guy called the cops to me recently. You know what I did? I left. I left. I was like, fuck you. I'm walking away. I'm not going to let them come. And when they showed up, I walked in my house. And I dissolved that. Like, they never even saw me because I'm like, I'm not going to stay for this shit.
Oh, you guys here for that guy who was hitting the signs? Yeah, you should get that guy. You should get that guy. That guy's fucked up, dude. He's crazy, man.
That guy is nuts. Oh my god, I hate that guy.
Larry, you should have saw the fucking self-control I had in that encounter. Okay, I was a saint.
Proud of you.
I was a saint among men that day. That guy is a piece of shit. Oh, someone in my neighborhood just got arrested for pushing a little young girl and knocking a kid's phone out of his hand because they were hanging up Black Lives Matter signs.
Wow.
The Starbucks right around the corner from me.
Wow.
That actually just happened in another state. Yeah, some big guy on a bike. It was like biking. Like, yeah, they were just like putting stuff on the fences, and he knocked. What is going on with people? You're really worried about Stein?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's
Larry,
it's bad.
Can I ask you a question? How you fix all this? How are you gonna fix all this, sir?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the if you really want to start repairing this, and I'm very serious about this, you really have to end the war on drugs.
Agreed.
Well, that's.
I mean, that's there are so many other issues that you have to deal with, but at its core is the war on drugs. If you end the war on drugs and the way you begin that is by just taking cannabis off Schedule 1.
Right.
That's the beginning.
Yeah.
The first thing we do is take cannabis off Schedule 1. That's the beginning of everything. As that begins everything will begin to collapse from that.
Yeah,
that's really the first step. Yeah. And then once you do that, the next piece is you have to get rid of civil asset forfeiture. You've got to stop getting cops needing for their own self-interest to hunt the civilian population.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, you just have to stop that. Now, at a local level, there are two other things you can do. One of them is you can simply say, if they don't stop civil asset forfeiture, you can actually just say, you know what, a local governor or a mayor can say, no police force, no local community may take more than $100 from civil asset forfeiture per year. Done. That ends it. Right. It also defunds the war on drugs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It defunds the war on drugs by default, and it then stops people from having to hunt. Cops don't want to hunt. They have to. Adam, you said it. You didn't want to do that. You had to.
Hated it. Again, it's just so nice. It's just some dumb 21-year-old me thought. It's like, I'm going to help people. I'm going to stop bullies. And they're like, you're the bully now. And I'm like, oh, no. They bamboozled me.
Yes. And the last thing, which is more of a technological thing that we should start doing, local communities right now. And again, Adam, you know this. Most of the time, how are cops judged? By their arrests.
Yeah.
Good arrest, good collar, number of vests, number of tickets written, amount of money brought in.
Oh yeah, stop writing tickets. That's another one. Like, stop writing tickets for like everything. Like, just make them like the obvious ones. Like maybe like, you know, blowing a red light, 'cause that's dangerous. Like, blowing a red light is dangerous. Like when people like when they challenge me on like a lot of this shit, I'm like, I'm not for abolishing all laws. Like I'm for abolishing most laws and then just keeping the ones that again violate the NAP, right? Like so. Blowing a red light can absolutely kill me and my family. So that you shouldn't be able to blow a red light and absolutely should be maybe face a fine for that. Sure. Maybe not go to like the tax dollar, fine, but maybe go to something else. I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
I know what you mean. That's
you know
what there are issues.
Right, but like
change the way it works, and this is how you fix those two things. Number one, first part is because you asked Neil and you knew I'd have an answer. The first thing is you want to shift police forces into being judged very similar to a Yelp-like situation. You want the local community to say, am I happy with my community or not? Are the cops doing a good job or not? And if the people are saying, yes, if the cops are getting, whatever, 4-star ratings or whatever they're getting, then the community's happy. If the community's not happy, then the cops aren't doing a good job. You could shift yourself into a little is the community satisfied? Right. And to your point, Adam, if you then, instead of saying you make money from all these tickets, same concept. You only can make whatever, I'm making this up, $10,000 a month from tickets is all you can take. After that, all the money goes back to the community, in which case cops have no intent to write unnecessary tickets. They would only write tickets that make sense. That when you're an idiot blowing through a red light, you get that ticket.
Preach.
You don't get it because, man, I haven't written a ticket in 3 weeks.
Right. Don't forget, too, a lot of that comes from city officials, like the mayors and governors who are like, they're forcing the cops to write because it gives them money.
Yes.
So it has to come from that. It's not just the cops, it's them too. It's both.
100%.
The mayors should have to not be pieces of shit, I guess. I guess the mayors and governors have to be basic human beings and care about their constituents, but they don't.
Which is why I talk so much about executive leadership. It's one of the reasons why I only run for executive positions, because the executive sets the culture. The executive sets the culture, right? If your executive is about, I need money no matter what. Hey, Adam, go out there and get me my money. Right. Then Adam's going to go out and get me my money. But if I'm like, Adam, don't get my money. Adam, make sure you have a happy population who believes you're actually protecting and serving. Then you'll do that, right? The system is what matters, which is why you never hear me act like I'm anti-cop, because I'm not. I'm anti-system. The system is garbage.
Which is, I was having a conversation with another podcaster, Black Guy Delvin Cox, which is important for the story, because we were talking about the system, and I was like, the system even makes black cops racist against, I know it's not the right word to use, but fellow black people.
Prejudice.
Because
no, I agree.
Yeah,
prejudice.
Brett, thank you. Yeah, because it's the system. They make them right.
Asian cops also kill black people.
Right, because they make them you're the better type. They're not.
Right.
You guys figured it out. You guys are the good ones.
You're the good ones.
That's what they do, without obviously saying it that blatantly. But that's what they do. That's the mindset. Which, by the way, isn't this just another fucking reason to privatize the police force?
Oh my God! Now you're gonna get Matthew happy. He wanted to talk about that. Matt wanted to talk about this. Yes.
Yeah, Matt. Follow me on Twitter. At Adam Nutter.
Matt wants to talk about it. Hold on.
Matt, you're a good man. At Adam Nutter on Twitter, Matt.
Matt bugs me like every other time Matt wants to talk about this.
Because
and in the monopoly on policing, he talks all the time.
Matt, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I'm going to be very upset. I talk about this all the time. This is a big thing I talk about. Because if you privatize neighborhood police departments, and people be like, oh, what about turf wars? Well, no, they're going to get the turf wars over because they're worried about
shooting each other.
Right. They're worried about.
It's 1972.
I know. I'm like, they're worried about their brand, their company, their numbers. They're not going to start shooting the other police departments. That's fucking crazy. There's so many more incentives to privatize. Also, you're held accountable way more. Because there's no government bullshit. Because it's the thing too. Even if you end qualified immunity, the problem a lot of people aren't addressing the second part of that is the judges are still gonna fucking throw a lot of that shit out.
Yes,
you have IA, right? I mean, because if IA isn't clamping down, well, right, exactly. If IA is not clamping down, police unions.
Yeah, but hold on. This is why, if you remember my whole point, I don't know if you saw my quick thing, QICC,
yes.
Right? The I part is, by the way, Matt just followed you.
Yeah, baby.
So yes, there we go. So,
that's good, man.
The I part is you have to have cops like any other professional carry their own insurance.
Yes.
Once cops carry their own insurance,
malpractice insurance.
Correct. Or errors and omissions insurance, liability insurance.
Yeah.
It'll be a police insurance, whatever that is.
Right.
And to keep the unions happy, to your point, Neil, you allow the unions to be brokers. Mm-hmm. So now the unions can make money off of the insurance because they're brokers. Right. Which means the unions now don't have to spend their time trying to defend bad cops. Instead, unions can spend their time trying to help good cops, as unions should be doing.
Dude, I used to hear guys straight up be like, I don't care. It's not my money. If I get sued, the city will pay.
Yeah,
I used to hear guys say it all the time.
Yes. It's right. So why did you care? The city's going to pay. But not just, the judges are throwing things out. and the cops are trying to cover things up, and the mayor is also, because if he doesn't, they're going to pay $100,000 or $1 million. Right. But if all of a sudden now they're not paying, instead insurance is paying, well, there's a much better chance now of the government being, you know what? Let me get to the truth, because I'm not punished anymore. The mayor's not going to jump on my ass because I let a suit go through that cost the state $100 million.
Right, and hold the cop more accountable, because like just the same reason doctors aren't like randomly, I don't know, I'm gonna glue an alligator bill to this guy's face and see what happens. Like, they don't do that because I'm fucking malpractice and all this shit, right? So like the same thing with cops, they're gonna be like, maybe I won't beat the shit out of this guy.
Yes.
Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just fucking cuff him. Oh, another thing that I harp on a lot about police academies, they're too long, and this is why they're too long. They become like senior years at the end of high schools, where like the last 2 months, it's just like, I don't know, man, just sit around and dick around. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, you're not doing it. But it's because the city mandates 6 months, or the state, whatever it is.
Oh, right.
So here's what they should do. Make it 4 months, right? And every day, Monday through Friday, no matter what else you're doing that day, 2 hours mandatory jiu-jitsu.
That's it. That's his whole way to fix it. Now,
no,
Larry, how would you
whole way to fix it?
Oh, hold on.
You also give them lollipops.
Hear him out. I would rather you flip me over your back or something than choke me.
Right. So here's the thing. And by the way, you don't have to teach chokeholds for jiu-jitsu. Because you don't have to, but you could teach leg locks, arm locks, knee locks, elbow locks. I mean, again, I'm a former mixed martial artist, right? I used to train. I used to fight. I am a jiu-jitsu guy. You could de-escalate so much shit. So every day for 4 months, no matter what, for 2 hours a day, you are doing jiu-jitsu. And also you're doing hand-to-hand, like just bag hitting, just for, in other words, anything to not go right to fucking weapon.
I like it. You got some.
Yeah, Frank just followed Adam.
So be good.
No one's following Neil. How's anyone following Neil?
Guys, let's go back. Let's make Matt happy. Let's go back to privatized
do a podcast
police. Shut up. Let's go back to privatized police. Let's make Matt happy.
Yes.
Let's go back.
So
now,
you privatize.
I have a worry though here, right? Now, if you privatize police forces, does that mean, and it's a question, it's an open question, and I'm not judging, I'm asking, does that mean that rich people get better police forces? That's my worry.
That's a good question.
Right?
I guess how that would work. Well, all right. Let's walk it through. Just like the pothole thing with roads. You know, every idiot's like, "What about the road?" You know, every libertarian laughs at that argument because like that's easy. But like Domino's is just paving potholes and just putting their logos on it.
Yep.
Maybe kind of the same with police.
So then, poor people get the regular police, and the rich people get special police.
No. In other words, like just like the rich people could hire a police department. There's no reason like maybe Domino's wouldn't want to sponsor our police, like a well-regulated police department too, to be like, hey, look what we're doing too.
Do you think there could be sponsorship of police departments?
Maybe. It's just an idea I just thought of literally right now.
Okay. No. Okay.
Larry, I just shoot from the hip, and whatever comes out, comes out. So, I don't really think things through.
I love it. So Matt's saying we should use vouchers. So does that mean we get to pick the police force? So
what does that mean exactly?
Interesting concept. I mean, if you privatize the police forces, see, Adrienne cares about you. See, Neil, she came on you. You got Adrienne, you got a pity follow.
Hey guys, if you pity follow Neil, that helps out the podcast, guys. It helps our nerds with words. So
now I actively, guys, I don't want you. I'm going to unfollow you. As soon as
yes, exactly.
So just let you know. But that's our dynamic.
George is a very valid point. George says, "Don't rich people get better police forces?"
That's also true. Yeah, that is true.
What we're seeing is rich people get better police already, and then poor people get more angry police. That's kind of I think what we're seeing. But maybe I would say that, I mean, couldn't you just set up a standard that at least a cop wouldn't have to hit if it is privatized? You say, this is, but I know that's governmental in some ways, but I mean, would it have some regulation to say, like, here's the bare minimum that a place would have to go, or they'd be kicked out in some other.
The community could fire them.
Sure. And you'd have to, but how, so I'm wondering, I guess, on how that would work and how you get a new police company in.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm just an idea. Maybe. Okay. Maybe like I live in Newtown, Pennsylvania, neighboring town's Yardley. Okay. So let's just say this is all privatized, and people in Newtown were like, you know what? Fuck, Newtown PD sucks dick. You're out. We want Yardley PD in. And then Yardley PD is like, all right, well, but we want this much money. And we're like, okay. There you go. Now we're part of Yardley PD. Now it's Yardley Newtown PD.
So does that mean that now the privatized police force still goes to a government-run court system?
Oh no, it's a merger. Do you mean it's like a merger?
No. Newtown PD is done. They didn't do their job. They get fired.
But then wouldn't there be only so many cops to be able to police? Like, I mean, you're taking those cops that enforce Yardley. So
there's how many cops now though?
Police, right?
But how many cops are there now in the country? A lot. So like it doesn't matter. But you're just putting them in different police departments now. So you're just breaking up certain monopolies of police departments and making up smaller, maybe more privatized departments. So they're still going to have jobs if that's your concern. Right. Oh, if I wasn't sure what you were asking me.
Well, the concern here is, okay, well, I mean, you're setting up, right, when coming up with solutions, you have to look at, like, if the problem is that you have a bad police force in the privatized system, how do you get rid of that police force? Now, if you were to be able to go over and say, hey.
Community vote, maybe? Like
like an election. So you would elect a police force every year?
Or a contract, and if they violate a contract, maybe if they kill 7 people.
That's a great idea.
They only get to kill 6 people every year.
No,
they went to 7, so it's no good.
No, it's great.
Yeah. Make them like a PMC. Again, man, I'm just thinking I'm thinking on the fly. You motherfuckers.
Don't you use that type of language on his show. This is a sir. This is a gentleman. Oh, jeez. No, but I'm not against. Yeah, the whole thing. I would say that again. Where does
erase the hate?
Yeah. No, again, we've all talked about like the idea that clearly the cops don't feel like they can handle themselves. So, right. but even from a community idea, like the cops clearly aren't getting psychological training, social training to be able to deal with. I mean, the first things that cops usually don't say to you is, "Hey, how can I help?" They've never. We haven't heard that in one video yet.
I think the privatized police force, while I'm scared of it in only one way, I'm worried that Americans aren't ready for that.
Oh, for sure not.
Right? Because I think that many Americans still almost worship police. So it's very hard for them to all of a sudden imagine that there would be something that isn't, the government police force. I think it's a very hard piece to understand. However, I do like the concept that, if the company would now have to have the liability insurance,
right,
they would absolutely train their cops better
because exactly
they would be in trouble. They would have the psychological training you're talking about, Neil. And this is, by the way, when I had Sergeant Dorsey on a week ago, she was saying that all cops should go through every 2 years psychological, evals, because you can see how her point was before every cop kills someone, you can see a pattern happening before that.
Right.
And no one seems to talk about that pattern. And if you did a psychological eval every 2 years, you'd see the pattern and then walk them off. And so maybe a privatized police force would make that happen.
Yeah, see, Larry, you made a great point about, like, let's say Nabisco owns a police force now, right? Like the Nabisco police force.
I love it.
Okay, Nabisco's like, we're fucking doing it. We're like, fuck Coco. We're about law and order now, all right? Yep. Nabisco's all about law and order. So Nabisco's law and order now. They're like, we're all in, but now they have liability insurance. They will absolutely fire that cop without hesitation and throw him right to the court system because they're like, whoa. He doesn't represent us, as opposed to now where it's the government, and they're like, well, we have to protect our guy. We don't want to make ourselves look bad. We don't want to make the city look bad. We don't want to make the city insurance. We want to use taxpayer money. There's so many reasons why now they don't do that, as opposed to if there was a private, they'd be like, who hit him? Murphy? The fuck out! Like, Murphy's out of here. And he's just out. Like he's, it's like he's fired. There's no fucking union. Bullshit. You got to deal with either.
Well, no, there might be a union too, but it would be different. It'd be a private union.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But I'm not working all the kinks out. You guys can figure it out. But you know my point.
Yes, I get you.
Yeah, again, I'm not. I'm wondering. I think Larry's pointing out the problem of I don't know if we can jump to that because that's like, I think in terms of infrastructure.
I think if we first went to the idea of just having the idea of cops first, just having their own insurance as professionals.
Mm-hmm. Right. Agreed.
That's it. Then making the union a privatized union, not a public union.
Okay.
You do those two things, now we could make that next step. I think it has to be phased for the American populace to even understand that, to get it, right? To understand it. And immediately, when you have a police force that's run by the government, people who are in poorer communities very often believe it's fairer, even if it isn't. They believe it is because, well, it's equal. The government will protect me. There's a feeling of that versus the private security of a rich person well, those are evil people that I see in movies that beat people up and throw people out of windows. Right? That's, I think, the image that the average American has. And I think we've got to make that change, right, to make it think differently.
You know,
I mean, if you need to see a clear, easy way to tell that clearly rich people have a different police force, just watch the Epstein documentary. They basically go to his house and like, hey, you touching these kids? No? All right, we'll get out of your hair. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, like that police force was like, they went over, they announced, they called, like, poor people don't even know what that's crazy.
I know that police force is like, you fucking kids? Like, all right, keep it up.
Oh my God!
Like they're like, you guys are doing good out here.
That's what Adam said. See, this is what I mean. Now all the fucking people.
That guy said.
Stop. This is why now Matthew, who was on, who apparently his photo is just him pretending to be busy on his phone. Is what's up with that photo, Matt?
Hey, Matt, tell him to go fuck himself. I got your back.
Just jumped onto an Adam train of following him. Yeah, enjoy that train, guys. I hope you enjoy it. It's
fun. It's fun.
Larry, I'm sorry.
I'm telling the government supported it. The government didn't arrest Epstein. I didn't see the government arrest Epstein. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, look. I do want to touch on this point. Union is not bad. I'm just saying you make it a private union. I'm not against unions at all.
Right.
I'm not against unions. Unions are in my view. Unions are literally the First Amendment. They are freedom of speech and freedom of association.
I think you're right. If you tie it to the insurance, I think that would obviously clear a lot of the things.
People have a right to do collective bargaining if they want to.
Right. How do you? I don't know if we've answered though the problem of the disparity between the rich and the poor, or like how would a community that is impoverished in some ways get better policing? Is it just pure votes, and then you're just hoping that the community is voting, and if they're saying, hey, this isn't good enough, insurance companies and the people that are really that they would then have to get rid of those officers, or like how are we kind of mirroring that and bringing that together as a solidified idea though?
What do you mean if the
equality of the I don't think we've really answered like, okay, there's inequality in terms of the systems if we're basing off a private system. How are we saying the poor community does get equal or at least the same or the better policing versus?
Well, I was saying like a sponsor thing still possibly because Domino's steps in. Now, Domino's Pizza isn't still going to want to look bad in policing if they decide to do. Again, this is a crazy example. I'm using Domino's, but you know what I'm saying, like they're still going to be like, well, we still want to not make you guys not hate us and like our pizza, so we're gonna make sure it's all copacetic over here. Yeah. You got it, buy Domino's.
Look, I don't mind.
So they're gonna fire that cop.
I don't see that as a short-term solution at all. I think the short-term solution is definitely just getting cops to have their own insurance first.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree.
Once you uncouple those two things, you can then make the next step. Right, you also change policing.
If we could sneak in bail reform would be lovely.
Bail reform, sure, but right now policing is all about law enforcement.
Right.
They don't call people peace officers; they call them law enforcement officers.
Yeah, peace officers are like court officers and shit.
Yeah, they're law enforcement. So I think the issue here is you decouple it first, make it to where they care about their communities and that the system is set up for them to do so. They are given rewards based upon that. Gotcha. They are judged based upon a satisfied community that feels protected and that feels supported. Then I think you can make other moves if you wanted to. Otherwise, I think we're just talking about we should change, let's make a unicorn pop up. It ain't going to happen.
I hate to, I don't know. I don't want to, okay, completely shoot me down if this derails anything because it's kind of a derailment. But what the fuck is going on with the anti-lynching legislation that they're talking about right now today?
Where did that come from?
I'm sorry, it came out of you're the political candidate who I'm talking to. Just happened to be a person who's.
Let's talk about anti-lynching. Well done, Neil.
It's about
Emmett Till, right?
No. It happens to be a policy that is about the hatred of David Lynch's films, first of all.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much is what I was talking about. What were you talking about? I will then dissuade this for another time.
Yes.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
It's fine.
Because it's a bummer. No, I get you.
The issue that we come up often with any of those bills is you have a double-edged sword, right? Do you create more protected classes? Do you support protected classes? But then isn't lynching horrible and terrible? And so are hate crimes? There's all different issues when it comes to that. And I see why people get upset about it.
Well, I'm just confused. I wanted to kind of point out in the funny way that I was thinking about it, because I was like, is this what the left is trying to worry about right now? Did this come up? And then they were like, how could you not push this through? I'm kind of like, and I'm listening to, Rand Paul. Was it Rand Paul? I think was talking about it. And I'm kind of like, yeah, it is covered under the law. And I'm like, left, is this what you're worried about right now? This seems much more symbolic than
it is. And this is an issue.
Let
me cover the symbolism here. There's a very important symbol that many people, particularly if people who are white, who often don't get this unless you deal with a lot of black people. Got to remember something. What makes it so horrible, and people who are talking about this death are saying, well, cops don't shoot that many people. Cops don't shoot. George wasn't shot.
Yeah.
George was choked out publicly.
First of all, he died of COVID. We all know that now, right?
Yeah.
That's
but the concept of a strong black man being publicly choked to death is what lynching is, right? And in the past, that was used.
Right.
The forces that be that were white.
Construction between World War II up to
then.
There
was difference, right? If you hang someone to kill them, you put the knot on this side.
Right.
Then the bottom falls out, their neck snaps, they're dead. That's actually relatively humane when you're going to kill people. Please don't kill people.
Actually.
But if you're going to, it's relatively humane. But when you do it and the knot is in the back, which is what lynching was,
you're just suffocating.
You literally choke and you suffocate, your hands behind your back, as George's were, and you choke to death publicly as a symbol to everyone to say, look how powerful we are, how weak you are. Shut up, black people, get back in line.
Wow, it's real. Again, I hate, because I'm so anti-bullying. Like, it's such like I want to beat those guys to death in my hands, because it's like you're not tough. It's just so like you're not tough thing, and it drives me fucking nuts.
And that's why that happens. It is symbolic. In reality, the guy was killed either way, but he was killed in a way that is symbolically very hard for most black people to accept. It is a very hard symbolic death, and that is why that anti-lynching is also the same. It is, you're right, it's emotional, it's symbolic, and it matters, right? I said all the time, if someone was Jewish, and if you go into someone and you maybe break their windows and spray Jewish slang on there and put a swastika, while as a black person, I can look at that and go, oh my God, that's horrible. The emotion and the symbolism, I can't feel. I didn't grow up in that. I'm not Jewish. I can't feel what a Jewish person would feel, but I would understand intellectually that it's bad. And I think so you're correct. It's symbolic, but that's the reason behind it. That makes sense.
That's good. No, that's good. I was just worried because I see Cory Booker's talking about it. And I was, again, going the other way of being like, if this better have legislation that is talking about the things that we're talking about right now, because if this is, I kind of was like, if this is purely symbolic, I was like, okay, that's fine. But guys, please then start immediately talking about police reform. Like, get on some shit. Because again, I'm just talking about the silence that's happening over on the left in terms of leadership. I'm just like, I'm not even, again, I'm still just independent, but I'm like, where is the talkie? Get the plans going, be in front of the camera. What is going on? So I'm like, oh, sure, Cory Booker, that's great. And yes, if it is symbolic, that is absolutely should be passed through, of course. But again, Rand Paul was kind of like, hey, if we set this up, if you were to slap someone, it's a whole thing. If you hear his argument, it's kind of like, she might get 10 years for slapping someone.
Yes.
That's a little bit of like, holy shit. So it's a thing of like, I'm like, this is the exact problem. Talk about the shit, dude. This is
what Aaron brings up, right? Aaron says the 10-year federal sentence, but describes lynching as any physical abuse, including bruises and scrapes. Just clear up a definition and move on.
Oh, he's a Chiefs fan. Are you a front runner? If they won the Super Bowl, Aaron, I swear to God, you better not be a goddamn Chiefs front runner. I'm a goddamn Giants fan. I deliver that every day. You better love the Chiefs every day. Sorry, I had to let myself.
We should move on from this because I'm more educated now. And I feel
there we go. All good. They're good. All right. Well, guys, look. It's been 2 hours. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you came on. I mean, it was amazing. Fun. For those of you who have been keeping your stuff on the bottom the whole time, droptent.com/NWW nerds with words. Please enjoy these guys. And of course, still like me on Twitter. It's important. Sharpe Way, not Larry Sharpe. Larry Sharpe's awesome, but Sharpe Way's even better. And go to Sharpe Way Facebook and head over to Sharpe Way YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you've got more time than money, then please like, comment, and share this. And if you've got more money than time, head on over to patreon.com/Sharpe Way and throw me 10, 20, 30. Or if you're filthy rich like these comedians are, Send me like $500 a month or whatever you got because you're so goddamn.
Yeah, you know, comedians, the rich
Yes.
class.
Yeah, we haven't done comedy in 4 months, by the way.
The superior class that you comedians are. Yes, that's what I actually want. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the time you gave me. I will see you guys soon. And guys, have a good weekend, everybody. I hope this was fun.
Bye.
And it kind of